Gotta make sure it goes through. Oh shoot. Okay, hang on. I forgot to change the title. I gotta fix that. It just says my broadcast. That's not what this is about.
My broadcast. FNAF fights. Yay.
Okay, let's see here. Here we go.
That's not it.
I know it's not it. I'm just copying and pasting it real quick.
Oh.
Okay, now I'm just gonna add a quick minor adjustment. Ah, dang it. It's the wrong key. And... Alright, I think we're all set. Thumbnail's been changed, and the title's been changed, and everything. We should be all set to go.
Nice.
So before we start off, like, all the things, like saying things like our names and intros and everything, we probably gotta wait a little bit until a couple people join the stream, so that way we can, you know, get some proper introductions in.
Alrighty.
So we got 2 people in stream right now. We got Mr. Mexico saying hola or oa.
Hola.
Alright, I feel like it's good now to undo this. Grabbing his film and popcorn in chat, he says.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Alright, let's see if there's any good topics I can find here. Actually, I should probably just... There we go. Oh, hey, look, there's the live stream right there.
Yay, we made it on the top 3.
Yeah! Oh, dude, I gotta ask you about this. Have you heard about this drama lately?
No.
Okay, so, long story short, there is, you know Megan, right? There's, like, a new sequel to Megan.
I heard of Megan. I think I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't know they were making a sequel.
Apparently it's called Megan 2.0, and, I'll just let the short play itself out so you can view the context.
Adorable. I'd spend 5 nights at Freddy's just to show them how a real animatronic handles business.
Did they really straight up just say 5 Nights at Freddy's in there? That's not edited?
No, actually, it's actually stated. I can't really seem to find the actual footage of, like, the full interview for some reason, but it's true. They actually did say that.
Ain't no way.
And yeah, I know. And now and the thing is too, at the end, she says, spoiler alert, she'd be the last one standing, and now all these people are just making all these like analyses of why they say that she would get swept by Freddy and the gang.
Wow.
Yeah. And quite personally, when I heard about these news, I was just like, oh, hell no, ain't no way she's starting this fire. Alright, so we got 9 people in the chat right now. So, I think we can go ahead and start off with the introductions right now. Oh my god, there's 11 people. Oh my gosh. Alright.
Oh shit.
Alright, so, hello everyone. Back again, doing another Five Nights at Freddy's Fight Animation Review live stream. But this time, I'm not doing it alone. I am joined by none other than one of the main people behind these fights themselves, the BlueBear. Introduce yourself, Blue.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's the BlueBear here, and I'm glad to be on the live stream, reviewing fights with Mr. Sinister over here.
Yep.
This is gonna be a fun one.
And for those of you who don't know who BlueBear is, we've most of you would know from my Dead by Daylight live stream that he also came into the chat and he said a few things, and we've been talking lately. So for those of you who don't know about the two of us knowing each other, now you know.
The more you know.
Yep. And so I asked him lately if he wanted to come on another live stream like this with me, and he said yeah. So that's what we're doing today. We're reviewing more Five Nights at Freddy's fight animations. And, Blue, I got a personal surprise for you. Some of these animations that we're going to be reviewing are done by you.
Let's go.
Yep, we're going to be going
Yes.
from newest to oldest. And since, of course, you are one of the main animators behind some of these videos that others are using in their channels as well, I figured it'd be fun to also ask you some questions about the process of the animation and what exactly you were thinking, specifically.
Okay. Ask away.
Okay, so, if there's one thing that I'd like to discuss with, it had to be your first one, which is the FNAF AR versus the Hoaxes.
Okay.
Okay, so, basically anyone who's seen this video would know quite a bit about what it basically references. I'm not gonna say it's a ripoff, you know, I mean, there are various scenes from it that are from something else, but they're all done in their, you know, different style of animation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I would like to ask, what exactly went through your mind when you were making this?
I don't know, I don't remember it very clearly. It was a fight from almost 5 years ago, and I was just thinking,
Yeah.
Nightmare VR versus Hoaxes, that's what it was referencing.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is a masterpiece. And looking back on this now, I completely understand, or I'm thinking to myself, why did I make this fight? It's so bad.
Yeah, sure, yeah, there's always going to be that case where you look back on your previous work and you're just going to be like, dear God, is that really what I used to do?
Yeah, the animation is not very good, especially the walking animations.
Yeah, we're
There are
gonna-
no rigs. There are barely rigs applied.
Yeah, there's no, you can tell straight from this walk cycle alone. Hang on, let me just adjust the volume so we can hear each other. So yeah, just by this alone, you can already tell there's really no rigs or anything like that.
No. I used to think rigs were super hard to use, and they're still a little hard to use, but they're easy when doing like with legs. Not really with arms, but legs
Yeah.
are easier to use. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Rigs are pretty hard to use sometimes, but also at the same time, the more you use them, the more you tend to get used to them, you know? Like, I used to be terrible with rigs. Like, I had no idea how they worked at all whatsoever. Like, I always struggled with just, like, the knee bones. Like, that was always, like, the biggest thing that I struggled with, and it always killed me that I could never animate a proper walk cycle until I got the hang of it.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, alright, so, let's go further into the animation and take a look at some of the other things that you added in. My main question is, how did you get,
Yeah, right.
like, how'd you get the lighting to look like this? I feel like there was something specific that you did for the lighting in this.
Yeah, I wasn't very good with lighting back then. As we go further into the video, there's just some scenes with like just plain white lights, not colored at all. I wasn't really good with lights back then. I don't know how I made it to look good in this shot alone. But like, I was kind of bad with lights back then.
Yeah, I'm still pretty bad with lights too. Like, I can never, like, I feel like there's certain techniques that other people also know when it comes to the lighting, like for example, I Can Drive, for example, with like his the Glamrocks versus the special delivery video, he managed to light up that whole entire atmosphere, and I still struggle to figure out how he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, lighting has always been difficult for the both of us, I'm sure, and we both have gotten better at using lighting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a weird combo, fire and ice.
Yeah, it is. You would almost think that they would be apart from each other because, you know, they're complete opposites, and realistically, if she was anywhere near him, he would probably melt.
Apparently, Frostbear Frostbear's ice is immortal to heat.
Apparently so. But another thing that I'd like to give you credit for what you worked with here, the FNAF AR models are extremely limited sometimes, especially when it comes to the originals. Like, they have no finger bones or anything like that, because that's how Illumix designed them for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were still pretty limited.
Technically the official models, but edited a little.
Yeah.
To optimize it.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, this is
Withered
also...
Toy Freddy.
Yep, Withered Toy Freddy. So once again, people who have seen the Nightmare VR versus the Hoaxes would obviously get what this is referencing. Like, even I got it first when I saw this at first, and I'm just like, alright, this looks pretty similar and stuff, so... But, you know, nowadays, that people would probably hold this against you for pretty much just, like, shot for shot, just recreating the entire sequence of everything that happened in that video with these characters. They would probably hold that against you in the past, but now look at you, man. You're, like, coming up with your own, like, scenarios and everything, and you're just, you know, you're just rolling with whatever you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I approved with coming up with my own stuff a lot, and I even have a friend of mine that helps me with fights, with ideas, and all that.
Really? Someone helps you?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there's Phantom Bonnie.
Phantom Bonnie.
And Phantom Bonnie, he does jack shit in this.
He does
nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. He does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, based on, like, what you did back then, I would say, like, that kick alone, like, that wasn't half bad. Like...
Yeah, that's a pretty decent kick.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent kick, I think, and it's, like, proper impact, motion, and everything, and I think it was pretty good right there. Okay, let's go ahead and, like, rewind. Like, before even making contact, just... just already
She was coming.
She's just like...
coming.
It's just... Ah! Okay, but also right there, I think you also did use rigs right here. Like, right about with the walk cycle right there. Also, just so you know, if you hear a dog whining in the background, that's my dog.
Oh.
Yeah, I got a dog in my room.
You also have a cat?
Yeah, I also do have a cat. I'm surprised you know about that. I'm surprised anyone knows about that, really.
I see one of your TikToks.
Oh, yeah.
Do your cats and jokes, do they both get along? Do they sometimes fight?
Oh, no, my dog attacked my cat once.
Oh, shit.
I know. Okay, I also want to talk about this scene right here. Let's just analyze it frame by frame here. So, yeah. So, obviously,
There's a whole ass...
Yeah. I think, yeah, I see what you were trying to recreate right there, but... Oh, shoot, what you ended up accidentally doing was... he ended up inside him. Like, he's literally phasing through him.
And it's also kind of hard to tell what radioactive Foxy's direction is going, because he's really see-through.
Yeah, he's transparent, which is kind of why I feel like whenever he's on screen, it's hard to tell what's going on.
And he lost his ear.
Yeah.
Here's.
Yep. And then that's it. That's it for him, folks. He never showed back up
That
again.
wasn't even a full. That wasn't even a full motion. Like he reacted before he got hit again.
Yeah, like, it wasn't even like in the full like contact with his face or anything, and then he just disappears. Just that's it. Just gone.
Uh-huh.
How did he get there that fast?
I don't know. Withered Toy Bonnie is Sonic, yeah.
Yeah, Patty's Sonic. And then, yeah, you add in the little detail right there where his ear falls off.
That was the fastest ear flip.
Yeah.
And he's angry.
Yep, he's angry.
Also, if you look closely, he flips through a wall.
Oh yeah, let me see. I think you can see it. Just going. All right. Yeah, he goes through the wall.
Shit ton of clipping.
Wait, hold up. I saw Radioactive Foxy do something there. Did you see that? Like, look at his ear.
Yeah.
He just. So
He sprints toward them.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was probably just like a glitch on the end of like the keyframes. Like there was probably just like a rogue little keyframe in there that wasn't actually a keyframe that kind of messed it up at the end there.
Maybe. This was my attempt at a transition.
I mean, it's pretty good. Okay, so this is of course referencing the scene where Nightmare Foxy is about to ambush.
The lighting looks better here.
Yeah, it does. But in this case,
Yeah.
what is he gonna hit him with? His wires?
Alright, oh yeah. I think that's what he was planning to do. You know how, like, sometimes an animatronic with wires turns them on and it uses them to electrocute another one?
Oh yeah, that's true. You did try that too with like your other video with like the Withered Melodies versus the Nightmare VR. You did that too, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, and you probably couldn't tell at first because
There was no particles of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course, once
That was
again,
Ultra Instinct.
yeah, literally just. Let's go ahead and review that again. Just.
Oh wait, you didn't even give him a contact with him again. Oh my god.
That's great.
This is hilarious. With you around, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's completely dark here.
Yeah, it's like. I'm assuming you probably like ran out of lighting because in Source Filmmaker you can only use about like say like up to 9 lights, right?
Yeah, but nowadays there's actually a patch where you can adjust the light limit.
Really?
There's an add-on about that on the Steam Workshop. I'll have to show you after this.
Please do, because I would love to have more than just like 9 lights being my limit. Also, I love how
here comes another.
yeah, I love how in this scene it was like completely dark in that office, but then all of a sudden there's just light. So did you think
Yeah,
like
they turned on the lights so you can see it.
yeah, did you think like at the last second to just like fix that so that way people could actually see what was going on there?
I don't remember clearly. And there's
Rooster time.
Rooster time.
Yep, that was this was before they hired you on, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what got his attention.
Just using his plushie.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then one of the fight videos
Fucked up.
that I had in mind, like I planned one a long time ago, and I have like the both GUZ prize model and logo in the video. I never finished it, but if I was ever gonna like do another video for them, then I would have put the logo in there. And there's Phantom Torchica. She decides to show up.
Yeah, phantoms appear out of nowhere, which makes sense because they're ghosts.
Yeah, that does make sense too, which also kind of makes you beg the question if they can even be touched in the first place.
Maybe in the fights they can choose to be.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, I'd like to point out that this shot is actually pretty menacing, just with like the darkness and only being able to see her eyes right there, that's actually a pretty good way to portray a menacing shot. At least in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, let's point out that Broiler Baby is literally watching her, doing nothing about it.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, well, technically she's got like Withered Toy Freddy in a chokehold, which, by the way, I'm very surprised that he managed to last this long in the fight without dying.
Yeah.
So this is... I'd also like to point out that while people may say this is just a ripoff of Nightmare VR versus Hoaxes, you did take the time and liberties to come up with some other stuff to put in there, so it wasn't a total ripoff, so which, kudos to you for that.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, like this, for example, this was not in that video at all. Just rapidly getting stomped in the head. That's a bit of a weird angle right there.
Brush. Yeah. Also, this part right here is a reference to this part. Phantom Toy Chica starting to fight Broiler Baby. That's kind of a reference to another fight called Glamrock versus Withered Mediocre Melodies, if you remember that fight.
Yes, I do. I remember watching this fight, and I was just like, oh, so this is like reference upon reference, isn't it? Because,
Yeah.
like, yeah, Withered Nedbear charges at the beta version of Glamrock Freddy the same way, and then he starts doing the literal same thing that she's doing here. As well as the open palm slap right there.
Yeah.
Using her own weapon against her. Now that's crafty right there. So at this point, Phantom Toy Chica has already shown how much of a goat she is to her Hoax team, because she's already taken out 2 of them on her own.
Yeah, I got a funny comment about that part where she stomps on Broiler Baby's head. Like, someone commented, if Withered Toy Chica stepped on Broiler Baby's head, her foot would be burning.
Yeah, I would see why someone would think that. Yep, and here comes this scene. And
Yeah, that's a reference to Golden Toy Freddy holding up Nightmare Foxy's decapitated head.
Yep, of course. I also like how
It's a big reference part.
What?
Here comes the huge reference part.
Yeah, basically almost like word for, like, shot for shot reference here. I also like how you had to put it in his other hand because he still has that, like, ice cube that's just fused into his hand and you can't really get rid of it, so you had to switch over to the other hand.
Yep, AR models for you.
Yep.
Oh, this is
Yep.
He clips to the wall again.
Yeah, he keeps... You'll find a lot of these here, folks. Okay. He just... He does...
No!
He just...
No leg posing! There's no leg posing! There's no leg posing! Lazy leg posing!
Yeah, literally. And he just...
Why? Why did I make this? Why?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think of like a meme reference to put right there, but I can't really think of one. Like, you got any ideas? Okay. My main thought process is what you were thinking when you made that shot was like you didn't really know how to replicate it that well, so you just tried to do whatever you could with the ideas and the skill ideas you had in mind.
Yeah. Big mistake.
Yep. Yeah. Then you
And
go ahead.
so to context, Toy Chica twists Frostbear's arm the other way so he can impale his own icicle into it, and she didn't even touch his hand, and yet it's still twisted.
Yeah, so that was... And also, yeah, you had to reuse Boiler Baby's weapon because Frostbear's icicle can't be removed from his hand.
Of course.
And
it's
finally...
stabbed to the neck.
Yep, finally, Withered Toy Freddy, being the most useless out of the entire group, is finally put down.
Of course. Oh no.
I also,
Oh.
you also forgot to put in the subtle detail of like clenching her fist so it looks like she's holding it.
No. I was so lazy back then. My God.
Back then, keep that in
This-
mind. It was back then.
This is literally unwatchable.
Yeah. Sorry, we got one of your
Hey, T,
recommendations.
my latest video.
Yeah. So, I'd like to question how she was able to impale him that much with that side of the weapon facing that direction.
I
Well, wait, hold on. Let's look at her legs. Look at her legs when she's walking.
My God.
And then, of course,
More of that.
yeah, and also, how did she not fall over? I feel like with someone of Foxy's mass, I feel like they're both around the same size. How did she not fall over?
I don't know. Maybe he's light as a feather.
Yeah, considering how transparent he is.
And then dead.
Yep, everyone's dead. Wait, hold on. Did I see a glitch right? Oh yeah, I did. Something disappeared right here. That was a mini arena,
I think
wasn't
that
it?
was one of the mini.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
one.
that was a mini arena.
And also, just for context for people who don't know, the FNAF ARs didn't actually lose, didn't they?
No.
Yeah, I remember you made like a small little sequel video to this where Frostbear like heals the wound in his face and then he walks away from it, doesn't he?
It's more of an aftermath.
Yeah. All right, so that was the FNAF AR versus Hoaxes video. And to be fair, I think you were the first one who came up with this matchup, weren't you? Because Animation Time did a matchup like this too, but it was by a completely different animator.
Yeah, that was by Hoovy2.
Yeah, Hoovy 2 before they broke off from Animation Time and started doing their own thing. Still love their stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've gotten through one of yours, what are your final thoughts on this? I usually give my final thoughts, but what are your final thoughts on this?
Even though it was one of my first fights, it's definitely one of my worst. It was poorly animated, lazy finger posing, lazy leg posing, barely any rigs were used.
Yeah.
And some movements were pretty decent,
Yes.
but they were just decent at best. The rest of the fight is just doo-doo, almost a complete ripoff of 2 fights. So my final rating is like a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10, huh? Well,
Yeah.
have no further because we're about to review one of your more recent fight videos, which is the originals
Yes.
versus the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics.
Yes. In
So,
for a treat, guys.
Yes, everyone who's about to come back, watch the replay footage of this because you are in for a treat because 4 years later, after Blue is still doing these fights, he manages to improve not just with his fight quality, but with the way of how he's been coming up with new models lately, which once again, kudos to you because I still have I have no blender skills whatsoever, not with like animation or sculpting whatsoever.
You'll learn eventually.
Hopefully. And then maybe I can start making my own stuff too.
Good luck.
So of course we got Freddy as Chucky. So I want to take a moment right
then
here
there's-
to talk about the full casting process and what you were thinking when you were coming up with these ideas. So obviously Helen the Hen, is that her name?
Helen Henny.
Helen Henny? Alright, I don't know why, but I thought it
Yeah.
was Helen. But anyway, obviously she had to be a Chica variant. So why did you pick Toy Chica?
Originally,
I'm not judging you for picking Toy Chica, I just want to know why.
well, she was originally going to be original Chica, but I thought that a skirt would be hard to, like, make on original Chica because she is pretty chubby.
Yes, of course. She's pretty big. And also,
Yeah.
who is this supposed to be exactly? I keep forgetting who this is. I keep thinking of
Mr.
Grimace
Munch.
from McDonald's.
What?
I know.
That's
It's
Mr. Munch.
Mr. Munch. Yeah, I know it's stupid of me to think of Grimace when I see this, but it's like the first thing that comes to mind when I see this. And also, I want to say, hands down, the best character is the Sparky character. Like, this design is brilliant. Yeah, that one is by far so brilliant.
Fun fact, it was originally going to be Foxy, but I decided to change to a dog, Sparky, because it would be a better design choice.
Yeah, it would be a better design choice because, you know, it's a dog. It was a dog character, so you decided to go with Sparky.
Yeah. This is stock animation. The walking.
It's like exported animation like over the characters' models?
Kinda.
I love how Freddy is just like, out of all that, like the rest of them, they look like they're ready to go, but Freddy, he is ready to shed blood.
Of course.
So yeah. Okay, so this is a certain question that I feel like a lot of people who watch this have. Why is Golden Freddy just on the sidelines, just eating popcorn watching the fight?
He's not eating only popcorn. He has a whole ass buffet. He's got a bucket of candy and a whole ass pizza, a drink, and a bowl of soup.
Yeah, there's that too. So I guess lots of people are probably asking, like, why is he just eating on the sidelines while everyone else is just fighting?
It was an idea that my friend gave me, and I decided to go along with it.
I bet also, like, the main reason why is because if you actually did allow him to fight, he would probably win, wouldn't he?
Yeah, if you watch Security Breach versus Glamrock Originals, Glamrock Golden Freddy completely destroyed all the Glamrocks.
Yeah, he's like...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, of course. And also, don't think I didn't see that in the background either. I see that. Who is that supposed to be?
Oh, of course. That's one of my friends, OCs.
It's just chilling in the background, huh?
Yeah.
I love the full detail of you just, like, opening up his mask for him to eat the popcorn.
Yeah.
And then there's, of course, the detail of him eating all the other things while watching the fight.
Yep.
Okay, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that shot of Freddy Chucky just pointing like that, is that a reference to something?
Maybe.
Because I can't recall the specific shot from where that's from or anything like that, but I can't help but know that I've seen it somewhere before. And that's also another detail I like to point out with what you do now. You do your own original stuff, but you also give, like, nowadays, instead of fully referencing, just, like, shot for shot, you instead, like, you just make subtle references here and there.
Do subtle references?
Yeah, just, like, slight little hints as to what it's referencing, because it's more nostalgic that way, you know?
Have you seen Freddy Fazbear and Friends Rockstar Riot by Andrew?
Oh, that's what it's from! I knew I saw that somewhere!
Of course.
Yeah, it was like the scene where Bonnie was, like, pointing at the Rockstars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
I noticed...
there are no cinematic bars.
Yeah, there's no cinematic bars here. Didn't you try that at one point?
No. But yeah. That was the hardest shot to animate.
Just all of them going at it?
Yeah. I usually don't animate all characters fighting in one shot.
Yeah, I don't normally do that either whenever I'm animating with all the characters. Like, usually it's at most, like, probably 2 or 3 characters, but yeah, not always this many characters. Also, kind of forgot a little detail right there with Chucky Freddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously you've gotten a lot good at the impact motion, because, like, you can genuinely tell that he hit the ground when that sound effect happened, so that's a good improvement there.
Yeah.
I also noticed those those little, like, smear models that you place on there too. That's a good touch.
Yep. And also another detail, I decided to add chippings falling off when an animatronic would get hit. I've taken notes from Walt TV. Rest in peace.
Yes, I knew you took notes from that too. Like, I was just like, okay, this is giving
Rest in
me
peace, Walt TV.
yes, rest in. Can we get like a rest in peace Walt TV in the chat? Anyone who's watching this, please and thank you, because that guy was a fucking goat. He was so good at everything
Hold
he did.
on.
Oh, are you gonna do it?
Just did it.
All right. Yes. I was so devastated when I found out that he died. That was so like tragic to hear. I like how he has the ability to just pull those knives out too. It's probably like stated with like this character to have these knives on hand, but for him to just like pull them out is like hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Good parries. That was also a reference to the Rockstar Riot video. I know that
Yes.
shot is 100% guaranteed to be a reference to that. And also, for it just being a reference, it's still a very, very well done shot. Yeah, like the motion and everything of how you captured that, I feel like that was beautiful the way you made that. And that's another good detail right there too. Like, not only did you put a slash mark right there, this is also something that I've thought about doing too as well, that I haven't really shown anyone that I'm doing. But not only did you recolor the slash mark to his color scheme, but you also made it look like the material was fully made out of his mask.
Yeah. Also, another fact, this took me almost the entire month of April to complete this fight.
Wow. That's dedication right
Fight.
there.
Of course.
I can't imagine how hard that shot must have been to animate as well. Because, like, once again, rigs aren't exactly very nice to animate with sometimes.
Easy. Yeah. I should start animating facial expressions more often.
Yeah, that's a good detail to slip in every once in a while. Let's just also state the fact that, like, Helena Chica, or whatever the hell her name is. I forgot already. Helen, yeah. Helen Chica is, quite frankly, one of the most, like, goated fighters on their side right now, aside from Chucky, which we're going to see in a minute.
Of course.
And we have Golden Freddy eating and drinking his stuff. That's also very ironic, because I had pizza for dinner today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And also, I want to just, like, imagine, just, like, when one of them is, like, losing their fight, I would just like to imagine that one of them are just up there just yelling at him, like, dude, we are getting clobbered down here. Can you help, please?
Golden Phrase be like, nah, I already took down all the Glamrocks for you. I need a break.
Yeah, exactly. I also want to put in a good word for you, because, like, I always enjoy seeing Bonnie being one of the main ones that kicks the most ass out of all of them.
Because he's your favorite?
Yes, of course. Like, if no one could tell, yes, he's obviously my favorite. And also, I'm so tired of, like, the trope that people keep saying that he's, like, the weakest or the dumbest out of the group because of, what, he's just a rabbit?
Also, I have a question
Sure.
for you.
What is it?
So I saw one of your YouTube shorts, how the kids died in FNAF versus Jeremy, aka Bonnie.
Uh-huh.
Is that something that actually happened in the lore, or did you just make that up?
Okay, so the thing is, somebody else made that up. It's probably because of the interview that they were talking about the animatronics, saying how Bonnie was the most aggressive out of the group. So a bunch of people apparently came up with the theory that while William was murdering the children, that he was the one to put up the most of a fight out of all of them. Because there would be, like, captions and there would be captions and stuff saying how the other kids died. It would be like, Freddy died from, like, he was hiding before he died. Foxy tried running. Chica was screaming. And then it cuts to Bonnie, and it's just, like, any type of fight animation of him just kicking someone's ass. And then they would just say, this is how he fought William.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just followed up on the trendy trope of everyone treating Bonnie like he was like the strongest out of the group, because of course I did.
He does kind of look bulky.
Yeah, he does. Also, that was a really creative shot right there. Like him Bonnie catching his foot, and then him just using that as a way for him to do a spinning kick. That was awesome.
Also, the reason why I picked these two of the fight because they're both the guitarists of their band.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's a nice little side detail in there. Also, according to Mr. Onion, you apparently gave Bonnie the most aura out of all of them.
Yeah, I love Mr. Onion. He's funny.
I know. And also, this shot's really cool too. God damn. Let me try run that by again. Grabbing him and dragging him into a full-on spiral, and then launches him just... Okay, so how hard was that shot to make?
Pretty hard.
I imagine it would. Oh, and my dogs are barking. Jack, stop it. Stop. Yeah, they think they hear stuff outside and then they start barking. Let's just ignore that. I love that little subtle detail there, too, of you including the loose wiring and all that stuff, indicating that basically his armor's broken.
Yep.
Nice slow-mo shot, too.
Nut shot.
Nut shot right to... Correct me if I'm wrong, but if... I will put a bet on this. If Mr. Onion does make another, like, FNAF review... Like, reacting to FNAF fights video, he will most likely make that the thumbnail right there. Just Freddy's eyes bulging out of his sockets. Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't use it in the latest one he made.
Yeah, true. Alright, so yeah...
Also, if you look closely at Freddy's face, he has dents.
Oh yeah, he does. So how did you do that? That's what I'm very curious about. How did you manage to make all the dents and stuff in their faces?
So basically, I put the models into Blender, and I used the sculpting tool to deform their face a little.
Ah.
Basically, the power of Blender.
Right.
Yeah, hit him with the 1-2, Freddy.
Yep. And then, ugh. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that detail so much. That is always something that I feel like is so underrated with people who watch your video. I feel like they don't give you enough credit for that, because like that does not look like it is very easy to replicate at all.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes my personal favorite shot.
Of course.
Ah. And I'm sorry for any people who wanted to see Freddy come out on top, but of course, it can't always happen. So I love this subtle detail that you did right here with not only including the computer chip from FNAF AR, but also as well as the wires. And of course, the hole that's actually punched through his chest. Which, that is like three different details of going through just like immense effort and trial and error to get that shot right. And also the fact is, I bet you probably also had to, in between, like, both the regular model, what you already had right here, and then swapping it out with the model that had the hole punch through the chest too, right?
Yep. Of course. Freddy's out of the game.
Yep. Okay, look, I know that I know that's hardcore and everything, but was that really necessary though?
Well, I mean, his job was to end him.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, here comes another personal favorite moment of mine. Oh, that was beautifully done. That was amazing. I love that shot. Just like, not only of him just cutting off each and every one of his limbs, but also finishing him off by decapitating him as well. And just like the sound design of what you went for right there, that was just That was awesome.
Thanks.
And also the subtle detail too of the extra wires too, just to give in that little slight robot gore effect. I love that too.
Oh, I should have added oil.
Well, you can keep that in note for next time. Oh boy.
They don't love you like I love you. They don't.
Yeah. And then,
That's
bitch.
another idea from my friend.
Oh, you also got that idea from your friend? Kudos to them, because that was funny too. And then the music switched up too. Oh. And just the way how Chucky Freddy is fighting too, that's also really good too. Ah. And Foxy is out of the game too.
Bonnie and Chica are left.
Yep, only they're left. I also want to commend you for the way of how you tend to like choreograph these too, with just like the not only with just like the blocks, but like the way of how they grab. It's kind of, you're kind of trying to, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're trying to kind of like replicate the way of how I Can Dry animates, right?
Yeah, kinda, and I'm also trying to kind of replicate on how the animator that does animations for Animation Time nowadays animates.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I've been like looking a lot of how he tends, or he or they, she, I never really know because their identity is never really stated, really. And also, I don't really think they even have any social medias.
I think I'll refer to the unknown animator #1.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, unknown animator #1, if nobody knows, is like basically the main animator. Is like the one that pumps out the most animation for Animation Time weekly. And sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's really good. Sometimes you can tell when it's rushed and all that stuff. But all in all, I really appreciate that animator because that's like, there's no way I would ever be mentally sane enough to keep doing YouTube if I had to do those weekly.
Me neither.
Yeah, because like there would just be no way to keep that kind of same level of sanity with that kind of schedule. So what was that sound effect? Was that just like a random sound effect you picked offline?
No, it was another idea from the friend. He wanted me to reference on modern Rooster Time fights. Every time someone dies, show the body with a random noise.
Yeah, just like the noise whenever they're just laying on the ground.
Yeah, either noise or fart.
Yeah, something like that. So this is where the real stakes start getting up right here too. So, yeah, once again, I can tell you try to replicate more of the combat style of I Can Dry's style of animation in a way where, like, it's like parrying, you know, with all the,
Yeah.
like, the blocks and then leading up to hits from following up with that. So that's really hard to do, too, especially when you're not doing it, or especially when you're doing it with rigs.
Yeah.
And also, I want to take a wild guess here and say that shot right there of him about to step on Bonnie's head, that's a reference to the Coca-Cola versus Mediocre Melodies, isn't it?
Yes.
Which I will hold up my end of the bargain with you. We will review that one, and if I forget, please remind me.
Good. Good. Next snap.
Dang. It would have been funny if you put like a little edit right there with just like a text right there that just said next snap.
Oh.
So then, dang. So yeah, I was, of course, when I was watching this, I was a little distraught when I saw that.
Of course.
Which also kind of begs the question of how strong really is Helen.
Think of Ballora.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep. Then there's this. There's that reaction.
You ate too much, you fatso.
I also just love the way of how he claps it up. Like, wow, you killed all my friends. Kudos to you guys. All right, so let's take a look at how this video is doing. 83,000 views with almost 1,000 likes.
Hold on. Hold on. My mom just walked.
Oh. Intermission.
You're gonna have to give me a few minutes. Maybe put a pause on the live stream, cause I'm about to go out with mom.
Oh. Okay. So like, you gonna be gone long or?
Maybe like 20 minutes or I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll see you then. All right.
All right. What are you gonna do till then?
I'll probably just keep the reviews with, I'll probably just pad out the rest of the runtime with, other things that Rooster Time has done up to modern day, and we'll just talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Alright, see you then.
Okay, I'll just be...
Alright, everyone, sorry to announce that, Blue is currently out of the stream right now because he's got some other things that he's got to deal with right now, so it's just going to be us for now. So hopefully no one's upset about that. So, like I said, I'm most likely going to be diving into some of the stuff that Rooster Time has done up to current date, so we can get some, little bit of criticism reviews. And what do you know? They just uploaded something an hour ago. Isn't that just beautiful? And, once again, it's the Italian brain rot characters versus Secrets of the Mimic, because apparently dignity does not exist anymore. What is going on with my Wi-Fi right now? What the heck is going on here? Okay, first of all, what is that? We all agree, yes, that the Italian brain rot characters are by far the worst thing to come out of this year, and anyone who supports these things is, well, they have no creativity whatsoever, and deserve to be punished. Right off the bat, you can already tell that's just exported animation. Okay. Most of the stuff here is gonna be actually a blind reaction because I have not seen any of this stuff yet. Yep, that's a constant reoccurring thing that this animator likes to do a lot. Reference a meme that barely anyone uses anymore. Bruh. And of course, there's the classic bruh sound effect. Huh. Okay. I mean, points for effort for the actual flatness of her getting flattened right there. Was not expecting that. Bruh. And that's another reoccurring thing that keeps happening right there is the exported animation. You can clearly tell it just cuts to it immediately. And of course, in normal cases, yeah, that's pretty understandable in Jackie's case because Jackie can't exactly really do much. You'll return eventually, Blue? Hopefully so. Because it's kind of the whole theme here. Don't really want to do this without you right now because we started off with you and I'd like to end it with you. Okay, that's another thing we gotta examine right there. So, right there, you can already tell this is some kind of motion that is meant to be, you know, just the classic trope of someone getting flung through the air, flying through the air, and then it transitions over to cuts to the next scene, and then all that. But usually, people take the time and effort to, you know, they take the time and effort to fully animate them going out of the shot before doing that. But in this animator's case, just only remotely do that and just have them jitter in the air for a couple seconds. And for you to just out of nowhere switch a different Jackie model is a little questionable too. And yep, there's the fart sound effect that Blue referenced right there. Except the way how Blue did it was actually funny. What did I even just see right there? Hang on. What is even... Hang on. This is what... Just keep the live stream going. I always come back. Will do, Blue. Will do. In the meantime, I'll keep criticizing this animation. So right away, I can already tell that's just a bunch of keyframes just splatted together and expecting it to just look like something completely and utterly different. And, yeah. So, there's that. Wait, hang on. Yeah, the call ended. I had a feeling it did. They'll probably call back later. Okay, that's one thing I'd like to point out right there. I still have no idea how people managed to do that. It basically looks like it's an animated, like, walking like, just someone just using a mouse and just, like, using natural motion and of just dragging it along to, just make it look like it's walking, but that doesn't happen. It's that type of practical illusion that's meant for comedy. I still don't know how people are able to do that. What is that? Please do not tell me that is something official by the Italian brain rot character developer. Please do not tell, at least if you're going to come up with terrible characters, please at least tell me that you did not just make a devil Tum or whatever the hell his stupid name is. Yep, once again, just expecting us to just think that looks good. I don't even know what he's doing right here. What? Okay, hang on, real quick. I'm just gonna take the time and liberty to go grab a drink real quick because all this talking about all this and watching all this is just making me parched. Okay, I'm back. Got some good old classic H2O with me, and back to this dog shit animation. Okay, at least you had the common sense to actually add an explosion there. But once again, you're just repeating the same thing that you keep doing over and over again. That's not even synced either. Let's just go back and rewind that right there. Yeah, just that right there. Like, sure, at the start, it's pretty synced, but you just keep it going. Like, why did you not stop it at the moment where that line fades? What the what? Why? What is that? What is that? What is this fucking Groot knockoff? What is that? Oh, there's the mimic. Okay. Let's roll with it, I guess. Yeah, that's another thing right there that you tend to do a lot. Just swiftly, without any realistic motion whatsoever. You didn't even take the time to pose the fingers or anything. You just... yeah, you just went with it. Words cannot express how lazy this is. And it hurts to watch. And, Rooster Time, I'm sorry if you're watching this and you feel insulted by what I'm saying. I apologize because I get what I'm saying is pretty cruel, but still, man, like, come on. Violet, why are you barking? Jack, stop. Stop barking. All right. Violet. Hang on. Alright, sorry, I didn't mean to keep it paused on this forever. Okay, what? You were in a mall, and now you're just outside. And now you're just in the middle of a road. Like, what? What are you doing? Why are you doing? Who is doing what? I'm losing brain cells here. I already know what he's doing. Yeah, because the Mimic can just do that. Although, to be fair, the Mimic might actually try to do that. Who knows? Sure, yeah, why not? Nothing else makes sense, so yeah, just a big explosion to end the fight. Yeah, sure. And just have the Mimic's face buried in that thing's ass. Also, I'd like to bring up the fact that this also says Repo and Smiling Critters, but I didn't see a single Repo character or Smiling Critter. Rooster Time, do you even watch these before you upload them? I feel like you'd have to watch these to upload them first before approving it. Once again, I'm sorry if you take offense to that, but still, like, come on. Like, at least with this one, you took the time and effort to... What the fuck was that? Indeed, what was that? Indeed, like, what did we both just watch? Like, because at least with this one, you took the time and liberty to actually put Repo characters. You actually took the time and effort to put them, as well as Smiling Critter characters. Or at least that's what the animator did. So, overall, let's just go in. So, of course, first of all, scenario makes absolutely no sense. The actions and whatnot. Okay. I'll give you credit. That's actually kind of one of the better things that this animator actually managed to pull off, because that actually kind of looks a little silly. I cannot believe I just said silly. What the hell is this content doing to me? Because that actually kind of looks funny. That looks funny. And then, of course, there's that. The Smiling Critter models don't look good. Yeah, you're right. They really don't. I mean, sure, cartoon-wise, but in execution-wise, not so much. So yeah, again with the fart sound effects, you keep doing that. Don't really know why you think that's so funny. People just snorting drinks out of their noses every time they hear a fart sound effect, and then cut to a Family Guy dead pose. Bruh. And of course the bruh sound effect. Misplaced. Although, you did actually take the time and liberty to, flatten the model, so give you some credit there. But also, then again, it went from this pose to that pose. How does that make any sense? Like, how? Then there's Jackie. And, like, just no hesitation whatsoever with this shark thing. So, okay, clearly there's some cartoon rubber hose logic shenanigans going on here. But if you're gonna do that, can you at least, like, I don't know, maybe try to make that look good? So let's just see how this looks first. First of all, first thing I noticed, Jackie's arms are phasing through the box. And one of them just starts out bigger. And then you just move the spine, nothing else. And also, it wasn't even that big before it nearly came in contact with the fin. And all of a sudden now it's big, and I can tell it's just behind him. And then he just disappears in the next frame. Like, how do you make something look that bad? Like, if this was any other scenario, I'd be okay with this. As long as you make it look good. If anything, I'd just give a simple what the fuck moment. But at this point, it's just a what the fuck moment. Not by sheer surprise or shock or anything, but just because of the way it is. And also that sound effect. I don't know why you thought to put that there. And the random explosion. I don't see why that happened either. And I still don't have no idea what the hell that thing is. I don't even know why that's here. So I'd like to take a moment to analyze that. Before that run animation even started playing, he was already moving. He was already in motion. He was already moving before that animation even started playing. So that's another thing that I criticize you for. And also, now that I look at it, Jackie's box is closed, and his hands are phasing through the box. I'm not even going to bother talking about this again, because I already did. Like, there's no context for this. Like, what do I even say here? The setup is all wrong, I'll say that. And also, why all of a sudden now do you choose to use this model? If you had the original Jackie model that was in a box. Where'd the box go? And once again, you're using the same fart sound effects again. And not to mention, do I even need to say it right here? That thing's leg is all broken. I'm not even going to bother saying this thing's name, nor do I even care what its name is. And Tong, like, his keyframes literally make no sense. Like, look at this. This looks like a shitty stop-motion project that a 5-year-old did. Just for the sake of doing it. Not for quality or content-wise, but just because he could. But in that case, it would be harmless, because he would just be doing it for fun. But this, on the other hand, is for content-wise. And you expect people to wow this. There's that mouse animation. And also, why would you, like, make the step keyframe there just... Why would you make that... where the step keyframe... I know that you've splined turning movement. I know that you have. We all know that you have. Everyone who's watched this by now knows that you have. So why would you choose to not do it now? And also, once again, fart sound effects. I don't even get if there's any jokes here that I should be laughing at, other than probably that's supposed to be the joke. But even then, there's no punchline to it. I don't feel like there's a punchline to it. And a random scream sound effect out of nowhere. And also, what even is that? Do I even want to know? What is the Italian brain rot lore behind this thing? If there even is any lore to Italian brain rot. Like, what is that? Devil Tung Tung? Like, at this point, I feel like now it's just a brain rot experience combined with Garden of Banban lore. Because remember, everybody, in Garden of Banban, Banban has a devil form. And he has horns. And he's red. See the connections here? Red and has horns. Now, sure, that could just be a coincidence, but I wouldn't put it past this animator to be ripping it off entirely. Rooster time, just why? Exactly. Exactly, Blue. Speaking my words exactly. I'm glad you're still at least taking part in the chat while you're not here. I feel like he's not even actually towering over that thing. Like, probably in normal scale size, he probably would, mass-wise, but still. And another thing, you just put the scream there. There wasn't even like a crash sound effect or a punch sound effect or anything like that of the sort there for context that he got beaten up. It was just a scream, and then we cut back to him just dead on the floor. And also, for the record, like, I couldn't even tell that he was just looking. And there was also no build-up that he detected something or was reacting to something. There was no build-up to that in the motion whatsoever. And also, does anyone even, are these new brain rot characters, like, are they slightly developing more brain rot characters as they go on? Because if so, why are they thinking of these things? Also, that thing just flew right through the leaves of a tree. Okay, I'm gonna deliver some personal notes. You're on your way back? Okay, good. I need your personal thoughts on this, Blue, because it's getting a little hard criticizing this on my own. Little personalized note that I have for you, though. What I feel like would have been best for your line of work of how you would have done this previously is have the screaming happening before the bomb hits him, and then have it hit him right there, and then play the explosion. Then that probably would have worked a little better. But the way of how you handled it here was just not good at all. And also, I already stated that you just using the voice line there and just keeping the rest of the jittering even after that voice line is done playing, that's just really poor planning on the animator's part. And then there's this thing. Like, what is this? Like, clearly it's probably just some different adaptation of Tung Tung. I cannot believe I'm even saying Tung Tung, addressing it as if it's some kind of character. But what even is it? I don't even know what it is. What is it? Is this just like Tung Tung's super form or something? Like, is there gonna be like some kind of secret lore about this that we're gonna get in the future about Tung Tung? If this is the case, or is this Tung Tung's dad, brother, cousin, uncle? Something? The sad thing is, the only good amount of animation in this video is that thing walking on its own. With the exported animation. That's the only good animation. And we're not even going to talk about the fact that that thing's bat is clipping right through the mimic. I want to roast that thing when I get back. Save it for me. I will do so. Trust me, Blue. Okay, so yeah. I mean, not completely inaccurate either, because in Secrets of the Mimic, yeah, it's actually pretty strong. Like, it's able to, like, lift up an entire car and survive some pretty harsh conditions. So I guess it's not too inaccurate with how the Mimic is as a character. But then you executed that poorly. You executed that thing so poorly. Now, normally in this case, with people stopping themselves in motion, it's like, you know, it can work as long as you have the right details. Like, say, sound effects playing whenever he's trying to stop himself from sliding. And some proper, like, bone physics. But once again, it's this animator. And we all know they don't do good animation. I'm not even sure if it's able to actually do that, and yet I don't really care. And that's another transition problem that this animator has. Like, they were in a mall, and now all of a sudden they're in the middle of the street. In the middle of the street. Even if you were to argue that the mall was destroyed during the growth of this thing, why would a mall be in the middle of a goddamn road? You have to ask yourself these things if they make sense. And of course, you have to wrap this up to make it a draw somehow, so you just make the Mimic grow in size. But actually, who knows? Maybe the Mimic is actually planning to do something like this in the future. Who knows? Except it's not going to actually grow in size. That's not what I'm implying. It might actually build a Mimic that is this huge and might actually go on to destroy the city. And yep, they're both just laying there dead. They're both just laying there just dead. And the Mimics, I kid you not, the Mimic is literally in his ass. Like face deep in that thing's ass. You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. So, the way of how I see this is just like a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Would not recommend it to anyone because I value their sanity. I wouldn't even send this to like the worst person on earth because of how bad it is. I would not want to curse anyone with having the misfortune of watching any of this. Which, once again, Rooster Time, I'm sorry for being harsh, but I feel like someone has to say it. Someone just has to say it, okay? Okay, so if there's one topic, so right now I'm just going to leave it off on this thing, so when Blue gets back, he can roast it like he wants to. Oh, he's almost here, never mind. So when Blue gets back, he's obviously going to give his critique, and he's going to, quote-unquote, roast the shit out of this thing, which I hope he has some really good insults ready for it. So, yeah. So once we're done roasting this thing, we're going to take a look at orange animations, a new type of territory that has not been stepped into yet. Now, what are my personal thoughts on orange animation? I've seen their stuff before. The stuff that they've made before, say like 8 months ago, has been fairly decent. The decent animator with good attention to detail and everything. And just overall one of the best animators that they have here. Well, aside from this one, I'd say like this is obviously like the top animation guy of this channel. Unless no, I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking of the school fight, but yeah. And we'll talk about these videos in a minute. I feel like as soon as Blue gets back, then we'll talk about these. I'm not sure if he's seen them yet or if anyone else has seen them yet, but we're going to talk about it. as soon as he gets back. I don't think it should be too long now until he gets back, so... Hopefully everyone's been enjoying the stream so far. I know I have. This is a new type of stream content that I've been getting into lately. Like, for example, I brought a guest on to the live stream with me. So, yeah, that's something. So, I guess in the meantime, we'll just take a look at Blue's latest video, which is FNAF SFM T. Now, I just kind of want to watch this for personal reasons, obviously, because it's going to be pretty obvious as to why we're going to watch it real quick. Not only is the animation good, but you'll see why.
Which one of you was going to tell me tea tastes different if you put it in hot water? You're putting it in cold water. Reddish, answer the question, Reddish. Yeah, I thought for like 5 years that people just put it into hot water to speed up the teification process.
Funny thing is, when I first heard this audio, I heard it in a Has-Been Hotel takeover. Like, it started with Charlie saying how she makes the tea, and then everyone getting triggered at her, and then everyone delivering their personal notes the way of how they all do it in the audio. So, yeah.
Didn't realize there was an actual reason. You don't have the patience to microwave water for 3 minutes? Why are you putting it in the microwave to boil it? Do you think I have the patience to boil water on a stove? It takes less than a minute.
Oh, you're back, Blue? Yeah, we're just watching your latest video. Hope that's okay with you.
How long does it take you to boil a cup of water on the stove? Like 7 minutes! Just stick the mug on top of the stove on medium heat, and it boils in like 2 minutes. Less than that, and you use a saucepan. You're putting the whole mug on the stove on medium heat?
Your stove is enchanted!
Every single person in this post is a fucking lunatic. Do none of you own a fucking kettle?
Hey guys, hey chat, who's that? Huh? Who's that? Who's that chat? Oh shit. Oh, I didn't, shit. Hello?
Hey.
You back?
Yes. I'm so sorry for that.
It's alright, dude.
Give me a slushie.
Oh, okay. Sorry, dude.
Just, sharing your screen again.
Oh yeah, right. I gotta share the screen. I was just buying a little bit of quick time and just like watching your tea video.
Yeah.
And I was just glossing to the chat, just like, hey, who's that, chat? Who's that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so just as I promised.
Yeah, I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I wonder who that is, chat. All right, so just like I promised, I left this thing open for your roast, so please, by all means, let him have it.
Okay. What is this? A fucking ultimate version of that Toon 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 shit her thing? You look like a fucking wooden version of fucking Bart Simpson. Fucking nerd ass. Bitch ass long ass head. No spiky hair ass. And you look like fucking wannabe Giga Chad Bart Simpson. What are you are you trying to be like Bart Simpson? Toon Toon? Like, someone should burn you in a fire since you're a fucking wood creature, man.
I'd like to say that he looks like a fucking combination of Bart Simpson and Groot. If they fucked angrily and had a baby and this came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, personal note, this thing is dog shit, never should have existed in the first place.
And I want to give my ratings on the fight.
What are your personal ratings?
I'm not going to give it a 0 out of 10. I am giving it a -5.
Oh my god! Oh my...
-5.
-5, wow. That's like lower than the rating I gave it. I gave it like a 1 because I wanted to be, because I didn't know we were going into negatives, but since we are, yeah, I agree with you. -5.
I don't usually go negative like this, but Rooster Time, you need to step up your game, man.
I know, right? 8 million subs and this is the best you can do? Once again, we're sorry for if you see this and you get offended by this, we're sorry, but seriously.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
so a new type of territory that I wanted to step into with you is orange animations. I'm not sure how familiar you are with orange animations.
Oh, I've seen them.
Yes, I've been watching them for. I've been watching a few of their videos. Gotta say, not usually the best what I see out of these fights, especially with things like this, since, like, you know, they also hire on that animator that I was literally just talking about. But they do have their moments where they actually do put in some good animators to make these fights.
Yeah, which is something Rooster Time isn't good at doing nowadays.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, Rooster Time should probably hire the person who's been doing these, honestly, because that would be that would be a much better upgrade.
Yeah. Or even he could come in contact with unknown animator number 1 again and start hiring him for animations again.
Yeah, that's true, because hang on, I gotta personally check and see if I can find that video. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, and see if I can see how long exactly it's been since that video.
Circus versus Pepsi?
No, not that's not actually what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the other one, but yeah, that was a good one too. In fact, I feel like that was more recent, wasn't it? Or this animator. You remember you've seen this one, right?
Oh yeah, in my opinion, that animator is underrated.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty underrated with what he does, like some of the stuff that he does. Oh god, this one. Not this one. Anything but that one. No, no, no.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, wait, hang on. I think I can just type it in real quick. Let me just see if I can find it that way. It would probably save a lot more time and effort to just type it. Okay, I think they're called Haywire Animatronics. I think that's what they're called. Well, shoot, I guess I can't really find it. Hang on, I'm gonna...
What?
There's a certain...
Oh,
I have a...
are you looking for Security Breach Livewire versus Melted Security Breach?
I think that's what the video is. Let me see if that's what it is. Yeah, it was this. Why don't we just go ahead and review this, because this was pretty good. How long ago was this? A year ago? Damn. It feels way longer.
So, can I go first? Can I say something first?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So this is the animator who nowadays does stuff for Animation Time, and whenever they do animations for Rooster Time, they actually look like they have a lot more effort put into them, and they don't look rushed at all.
Yeah, like for example, this video down here, the lava animatronics versus security breach villains. That is a prime example of your point right there. We can review that later, once we watch this.
Yeah.
So right away, I'd like to point out that's already a very creative way to introduce them. Since they are called Livewire, you would expect them to probably come from some different plane of existence, so that's a unique and clever way to display them.
Also, in case you guys are confused what the Livewires are, they're basically the Glamrock animatronics, but they're the skins of the Arcade Mayhem skins from FNAF AR. So Glamrock Freddy is supposed to be VR Toy Freddy.
Except he doesn't have the VR headset.
Yeah, and Monty is System Error Toy Bonnie. Chica is High Score Toy Chica, and Roxy is Radioactive Foxy. Also, I don't know. Another thing I don't understand is why Radioactive Foxy is seen with the Arcade Mayhem skins. He's not an Arcade Mayhem skin. He's a Wasteland skin.
Yeah, that is true. I did find that a little questionable of why they put him with the, the Arcade Mayhem when they could have just used Game Over Toy Chica. But I guess they probably just thought that maybe doing that was a little cheap, and they probably just wanted to throw Foxy into the equation.
Maybe.
And I also just want to point out, this skin is this like model is great. I love this model. This is a really good model.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the melted animatronics. That is a really well designed in character.
Yeah. It looks sick.
Yep.
Another thing Rooster Time's good at, they hire good modelers.
Yeah, that is true. They do tend to hire pretty good modelers too. But lately, they haven't been doing that lately. They've just been finding whatever it is they can work with and just rolling with it. That's another thing too of what this animator is really good at. They're very good at they're very creative is what I'd like to say.
Yeah.
Like with him being able to summon a sword and all that stuff, and it's a very fitting sword too because it's purple. It's not just like a random sword that he still technically pulls it out of nowhere, but it's still fitting for him.
Yeah.
So I'd also like to point out that this is the type of effort from this animator that I would like to say is like I'd say mid effort, but not in like a bad way when I say mid, but it's like, you know, it's good effort, but it's like, you know, we've already seen how hard this animator can go.
Yeah. It kind of goes with the same with another fight, rejected security breach versus security breach villains.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice uppercut.
Yeah, true. Okay, so my main question is...
He has the power now.
Yeah, he has the power! So, who were you rooting for in this fight when you saw this?
The Livewires.
Same, honestly.
And dead.
Decapitation, as Steven Z. Killer would say. You know who that is?
Oh yeah. He reacted to one of my animations, Lauren Z side as Chica, the first part.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. Also, another thing I want to point out with this animator, their fights are a bit, like, predictable and one-sided.
Yeah,
like,
that is...
For example...
Go ahead.
When one animatronic on one team dies, that corresponding team loses.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that Animation Time's comment section has been saying lately with that animator is that, yeah, we tend to know that whichever animatronic dies first, or, like, yeah, then they lose the fight, or whichever character, even if there is an animatronic or character from that team that does end up dying, the next character who dies and ends up losing to that character and they don't end up dying, that's who wins the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, for example, Security Breach versus Poppy Playtime, like, it was pretty one-sided because no one on Poppy Playtime team dies.
Yeah.
And they do get hurt, but they don't die.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I want to say personally, I think Roxy has a better... Radioactive Roxy looks better than Radioactive Foxy in this instance because she's not fully transparent.
Yeah.
And that's another good thing that this animator does too. That's pretty well... That's some good choreograph right there.
Indeed.
Like first
I really wish that Animation Time would, like, let the animator take more time to animate them and put more effort into them instead of just doing weekly uploads.
Yeah, that's like one thing that I've wanted to say to Animation Time personally. Just like maybe take like 1 week off. Like sure, it doesn't. You probably don't always have to take like specifically like say a month off, but you know just take your time. You know, I mean I get it. Relying on weekly updates in the YouTube algorithm, that does help a little bit more with your algorithm and your revenue, but not if it looks bad.
What did you say? You were cutting out.
Oh, what I was saying was, like, you know, they should probably just cut back a little bit on weekly uploads. I get it. That's how they always did it, just like weekly uploads, because it worked better back then when they had more animators to do the animations for them. But lately now, because they only have basically like 2 animators, what I know of so far, they only have 2 animators doing stuff for them so far. So, yeah, that's mostly why, because that's mostly why they're so rushed. So what I'm saying is they should just take their time and all that stuff and just let this animator cook and we will all be eating like kings.
Yeah.
And I also want to state that even though these like melted security breach characters are like melted and they have like missing limbs, they are still putting up a good fight.
Yeah. Ew, did she just barf on him?
Yeah, she apparently just barfed a bunch of radioactive waste on him. And also, that's a bit unfortunate for her because he just ended up falling on her and she couldn't get him off, and that just left her pinned, open for a swift kill.
Roxy, you were kind of a bit stupid. You could have just pulled him. You could have just pushed him off quickly. Like, there's no way Freddy's that heavy.
Yeah, I know. Also, I kind of feel like him, like this version of Monty giving a thumbs up, I feel like that's a little, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like
Unfitting?
Yeah, it's unfitting, because, like, I don't feel like someone in his condition would exactly be in the mood to be happy.
You could have just roared at her instead.
Yeah.
That Chica is kind of freaky. Melted
Yeah, it's
Chica's
like
kinda
it's like an
freaky.
actual, like, worm or leech. That's also another thing, too. Like, this animator tends to just give them random weapons that they can just find out of nowhere.
You're like, oh, how convenient.
Very
A
convenient.
barbed wire and sword. I don't think that slow-mo visual was really necessary.
Yeah. But for this, however, I feel like this is a little more necessary for the slow-mo shot, because it kind of gives you a little bit more time to process what it is she's shooting at her. Like the little worm parasites. I feel like that's a bit of hacks, too. And also, once again,
System error.
yeah, System Error Monty, I gotta say, honestly, looks way better than System Error Toy Bonnie. Sorry if that triggers anyone, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, they are practically the same, so they look pretty equal.
Yeah. And also, where did she pull those knives out from?
Another thing, they sometimes pull knives out of nowhere.
Yeah, like,
you think the only thing applies with guns? Nah, it could be knives, it could be fucking rocket launchers, it could be a fucking nuke for all that.
yeah. That's
Also,
a
that shot of Shock Monty, that gives me Jaws vibes.
just bird it. Bird it. Yeah. Okay, so that's already pretty random out of nowhere that he can just do that.
Where did he,
Makes sense.
where did he even come from?
I don't know. I guess he just like materialized it, but I feel like so many people could take that out of context because of like the color scheme of it and just like, you know,
Is that piss?
my super
Oh, that's
laser
spicy.
piss. And apparently it's not a lightsaber either, because if that were actually a lightsaber, it would just be cutting her on contact.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Wait, hang on. Oh, look at the chat. Mr. Jizwime or Wime? That's the guy from Animation Time's comment section.
Oh, I know this guy.
Yeah, he's the one that gives all the critical analysis and breakdowns of the Animation Time fight sets. Welcome, dude.
Yeah, welcome. I bet you weren't expecting me to be here.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, Wime, I got BlueBear to join me for this animation review live stream today.
What's up?
Yeah.
I was absent for most of it, which I apologize for.
Yeah, but you're here now. So let's go ahead and break down everything
Yeah.
we just saw right here. So, of course, there's like the long tongue shot with just her shooting her tongue out like a toad. And then her apparently being able to transfer those worm parasites through her tongue. And then apparently it's the visual of them affecting his arm, and then he makes the bold decision, you know, to just cut his arm off. Which doesn't really look like it helped that much. And that's another
And
problem.
dead.
Yep, that's another problem too with Rooster Time. They kind of tend to put their recommendations right here in front of everything before the video's even over.
If I would do that, I would probably like put like make it fade to black and say check out some other videos, and then have the
Yeah.
what do you say? The videos pop up
Yeah.
instead of like almost at the end of the fight itself.
Right. All right. I feel like we've done enough of those videos for now, and we'll get back to them later. But right now, it's time for what I promised you. It's time for the Withered Melodies versus the Coca-Cola animatronics, which also, in my opinion, is one of my favorite fights as well.
Yeah.
All right. Get ready for a treat,
I
chat.
can't drive movies fight, so of course.
Yes.
And I can't drive movies fight, so of course it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, kudos to I Can't Dry. He always cooks with these. No matter if it's by himself or if he is with a team, he always cooks.
He's cooking. I don't know where he's been these past couple years.
Well, I mean, if you've been watching Jazz Cinema, you would know that he did a video for them recently.
Yeah.
And I guess he's also been getting work done on other animated projects. Apparently some other people have been reaching out to him to help out with those animation projects, so that's what he's been doing too.
Yeah. Also, that's not a soda vending machine. That's one for snacks.
Oh yeah, you're right. I also love how whenever it's like a Withered Chica variant of, you know, just anyone who doesn't have an arm, he always has to put that little gag in that they can't use their arms or hands.
Of course.
And he uses his jaw to try and open it.
There's Orville. And then...
Yep, then that just happens. So I'm not sure how exactly he did that shot. I'd like to take a quick moment to analyze that. So it kind of looks like he used a rig in order to get the shot of him just like, you know, with how the arm moves and everything. You can obviously tell there's a rig there. But then for that to happen and there actually to be nothing there, like it actually got ripped off, I don't know how he managed to do that shot.
Well, I think I might know how.
How do you think he did it?
Well, there's this add-on on the workshop called I Can't Constraints, and it's an add-on where you can basically choose which limb gets rigged. For example, you can choose to rig only one arm or one leg or both legs. So I think that's how he did it.
Interesting.
That's how I do it too.
Interesting. Where did she come from?
And she just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, she just comes out of nowhere and just chokeholds him. And also, I also want to point out that whenever it's I Can Dry animating with the Withered Melodies, Nedbear is always one of the hardest fighters.
Actually, for me, I think it's Orville.
Yeah, you're right too.
That doesn't really make sense. How are you able to fit your whole body out, but not your foot?
That is a good question. Like, how does your foot get stuck when you manage to push the rest of your body, which is bigger than your foot, out? And also that run right there. That's such a funny run.
That has to be one of the goofiest running animations I've seen from I Can't Dry.
I know. It kind of gives me like Senator Armstrong vibes. Just let's go. He's
like, oh fuck, get out, ow.
Yeah. Oh. And I just love how there's like no let up whatsoever behind either one of them. Like they're both just doing whatever they can to either dodge or hit. Like there's of course Foxy just running up to immediately go for the kill with his hook. There's him missing. And then he tries to get him again. He blocks. And immediately pulls his hand back, punches him in the face. And then Orville, using the momentum and the position that he's in from that impact and his position, to backhand him in the air. And then there's him following up with trying to smash his head by elbowing. Sorry, you were trying to say something?
Also, I just noticed I noticed that Orville was kind of clipping through the wall there.
Yeah, but with this, you can kind of tell that least. Like, if you just put it on a single pause frame, you can't really tell.
I wish he did animate facial expressions more often.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, the rest of the animation helps, like, with that, so you can kind of excuse it. And once again, like, I love how creative he is with the choreography, especially when some characters are pretty limited to how many limbs or hands they have.
Yeah. And
Boom.
he's still going.
Yep. Here's Bonnie. Like,
How
just
did you get in there, Bonnie?
yeah, exactly. Like, how long was he waiting in there? He's just like, all right, I'm gonna fight someone. Now I'm just gonna stay in this fridge, and I'm just gonna wait for them to open the door.
And they're like, okay, this is taking too long. I'm gonna burst out now.
Yeah. And once again,
There's
we got
Happy Frog.
yeah, we got Coca-Cola Freddy just coming out of nowhere.
Were you shitting?
Just like
Were
you
you just taking a shit?
just taking a shit, walks out, sees someone else who's a different brand from him, and he's just like, you must die.
That kind of asks one of the biggest questions about these fights. Why are they fighting in the first place?
Okay, I've actually, believe it or not, I actually like presented these animations for a school project once, and I've actually developed my own personal theory as to why these fights happen.
Oh.
So,
Then why?
my main theory, of course, let's take a look at, say, the more aggressive animatronics, like, say, the Nightmares, or the Corrupted, or just basically any one of them that look like they have a killer instinct in them. I have a feeling that, of course, based on what we know of their nature, they're mostly just in the fights just for the kill. Like, they do it all for the satisfaction of the kill. That's mostly what I think they do. Like, they don't care what their target is. As long as they can kill it, they'll kill it. Or, say, when it's a matchup like this, with the Withered Mediocre Melodies versus the Coca-Cola, I have a feeling it's more of a fight for territory rather than just out of spite, you know? I feel like they do this to claim territory sometimes. Or they feel like they have the need, like, or if it's the other way around, like, say it's, like, if the Withered Mediocre Melodies attacked first, I feel like it would be just so they could protect what they call home. That's my personal theory. But we all know the main reason why these fights happen. They just happen because they happen.
Because of the content.
Yep.
And
yeah,
here we go again with the accidental cure from Foxy.
It's
and
always
Bonnie
it's
again.
always Foxy every time too. Like, it barely ever happens with anyone else. It's always Foxy accidentally killing one of his crew members with his hook.
And it's mostly Bonnie.
Yep. I love that scene right there too. Just the, like, him using his broken jaw to his advantage is genius right here.
Yep. Oh, and here's what was referenced in my better fight.
Yeah.
Him stomping on.
Yeah, except with your fight, you used a severed head instead of Chica just using a Coca-Cola can. We also have to acknowledge, like, right here, her jaw is definitely broken from that kick. Like, there is no way her jaw is not broken. Because she did, like, a full-ass spin in the air after she got kicked in the face. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
And also that, once again,
That's
goes...
like one of the-
What?
Sorry. Yeah.
That also just, like, confirms my theory that whenever it's I Can Dry Movies animating Ned Bear, he's always one of the hardest fighters.
For me, it's mostly Orville again, but that's one of the only times where he has chipping flying over the place.
Yeah, this is one of the
Also,
main times.
I like the animation of her eyeball falling.
Yeah, that was really good detail too. I think I personally know how he does that too. I'm gonna try to replicate it at some point.
I have a meme for this death.
You do?
Yeah.
What's the meme?
What will you have after 500 years, Mark?
Just like, what's like 200 more fight animations? I can always start again. Find another fox. Just.
Yes.
All right, so now we are getting on to the main goat of the Coca-Cola team here. Oh god, I love how aggressive that looks. Just like the way of how he flings Happy Frog and she just collides with the walls. That looks so good.
No, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's another question right there. How is she able to stay on the roof like that?
I Can't Try Movies is still undeniably goated.
Yeah, without a doubt. And also, these are really the only hits that Coca-Cola Freddy takes in the entire fight.
Yeah.
Because he tanks
Also,
that.
There's another thing. There's another thing that's indecisive about the electric thing, is that they can either hurt another animatronic or make them extremely overpowered.
Yeah, there is that too. That's the first mediocre Melody down.
He looked like he did that with no effort.
Yeah, without any effort whatsoever. And also, could you just, like, imagine, like, say you murder someone's entire family and, like, you manage to pull it off and they come home and that's the face that they're giving when they find out you've killed their entire family.
Yeah, just a blank expression.
Just a blank expression like an NPC. Alright, so this is where the real goatness starts. Just a full one-man army here.
And the Goofy running again.
Yep.
How did you die from that, Nedbear?
I don't know.
And then...
Oh!
Bye-bye, Jaw.
And once again, here come the recommendations in the way again.
That camera movement, though...
Yeah, it's so good, dude. Like, that's the one thing that I struggle with the most when it comes to these. It's just the camera movement. I suck at camera movement. Okay, here comes the best part, right here.
Oh, and here comes the funny part.
Yep. Look, he's just like, look, man, I know I killed 3 of your friends, but look, I'm willing to give you a peace offering. Just take this, and I'll let you live.
I prefer Pepsi.
I prefer Pepsi.
And then he's just like, you little shit. And then I just imagine that. I just imagine that one audio where it's just like, what the fuck do you say to me, you little shit?
I actually have a better one.
What is it?
I prefer Pepsi. I prefer Pepsi. So, you have chosen death.
Yeah. So, overall, the animation in this is very good. It is peak cinema. No doubt in my mind. Always will be peak cinema. Whether it is, like, low effort or mid effort or high quality effort, it will always be the most entertaining thing that I ever watch out of these. And it's sad that we can only...
As I said before...
Go ahead.
As I said before, I Can't Try Movies is still undeniably goated.
Yeah, still undeniably goated. That's without a doubt a question. And it does kind of pain me, however, that we can basically only see this probably like once a year. Because he basically...
Quantity.
Yeah, true. Like, I'm not complaining about that, but I just would love to see more of it. And this, like, the sad thing is he only works with, like, one YouTuber now. Which, I mean, I guess is the better option, because if it's more of a quality person over quantity, then that's always a good decision on his part. So good for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I give this fight a let's see, an 8.9 out of 10. Reason why it's not a 9 is because there could have been more facial expressions and a little bit more like spark particles and stuff. And the deaths could be more creative, like Nedbear's death is kind of lame.
Yeah, he just kind of like gets his head... you'd say it's probably like one of those like cartoon effects where it's just like their head gets like implanted into their own body and then they fall over. You could argue it's like that, but you know, it's just probably a little disappointing for the people who are on the Withered Melodies side to just see him go out like that.
And yeah, also another thing, the Withered Melodies are kind of like the punching bags.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Like almost every fight that they're in, aside from what I remember, Sister Location and the Reapers, they actually do tend to score sometimes, but just not always.
Yeah.
Which I think
And
will
I
lead
think-
us into the next video that I have that you probably didn't expect. This is also by Orange Animation, but it is by a YouTuber who I believe is going by the name Stakey. At least that's what I think.
Oh, actually, it's actually It's actually with two animators, iCanDry and Stakey.
Right. I had a feeling this was I Can Drive, but at the same time, like, it seemed like after I looked up who Stakey was, I could see all the expressive animation and all that stuff, and I'm just like, maybe Stakey did this on his own. Who knows? But yeah, so this is the Withered Melodies.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, this is the Withered Melodies versus Twisted. And this matchup has actually been done several times. Like, so many times. Like, all who have been
Really?
distributed by the same YouTube channel and by different animators. Some worse than others, but out of all of them, I think this is the best one. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Yep.
So, of course, we got Scout. So, right, of course we can already tell that it's not full effort yet, but it does advance more the more the fight progresses.
Yeah.
I'm also not the only one who thinks that this is very out of character for them to just be out here and then just see a human and immediately start going for the kill. Is it just me?
Yeah.
I feel like this formula could have worked with any other different kind of monster character.
Also, Scout's cap just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, that is true. And then in this shot, you can see that he clearly doesn't have it anymore.
Okay, how the fuck did you trip, Scout? Did you just pull a horror movie move? All you have to do is run, you stupid ass.
Yeah, like legit. Like he pulled a basic horror movie trope. Like just, I'm running for my life. I'm so scared. Oh no, I tripped. I'm dead. Oh wait, no, I'm the Scout. I can still run. Just something about the Twisted animatronics taking the escalator up is just really funny to me.
Yeah. You are dead.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, I'd like to point out that Nedbear's like fingers don't move at all in this animation. Like they don't move at all.
I mean, I can kind of see why, because the fingers on the Withered Melodies models kind of suck.
Yeah, to be fair, like whenever you like clench Withered Nedbear's fists, they kind of like conjoint and they kind of glitch out.
Yeah, that's why I decide to like fix them with better hand models.
Yeah. No offense to the the original creator of these models, but you could have ran through it a couple more times.
Hey there, little boy.
So right off the bat, I'd say the fight so far is pretty entertaining, choreograph-wise and animation-wise. I'd say it's pretty good so far. What do you say?
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, but as it goes on, trust me, chat, it gets better. Okay, I don't really know how that worked. I'm not really sure if that can work that way.
Yeah, so Twisted Bonnie bites down on Nedbear, and then he just gets like knocked back.
Yeah, and then
gets kicked all the way into a wall.
No, he doesn't get
How
kicked.
powerful would Nedbear be?
Like he doesn't even get kicked. He gets kneed, like double kneed.
Yeah, but like, why did he take his face out of Nedbear? Did he get hit? I don't see a fist going off.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what they try to portray. Like, where do you think you're going?
That human is mine to kill.
Yeah.
You're not stealing my kill.
Yeah, exactly. I also like to point out that, despite for the low effort it's in, that was actually a pretty good death. I like that death. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, stomps on his head and then jumps on it.
Yeah. And also,
This is where the animation gets pretty good.
yeah, it's where it gets pretty good because, like, that was some pretty good detail of animation of her flying through the air and then hitting the ground. That was pretty good.
Also, I have one critique about the Withered Melodies. Another critique is, I wish they had their own unique Withered designs instead of being based on the original Withered animatronics. Like, for example, Happy Frog being represented as Withered Bonnie and Pig Patch Withered Chica.
Uh-huh.
And stuff. And Withered Orville being Withered Foxy.
Yeah. There's another thing, too. I wish that the developer of these models also would have gave us an option to have a standing option for Withered Mr. Hippo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Miss Jeswime said, this is one fight from I Can Dry where Orville doesn't... Oh, he's talking about the last one, where Orville doesn't have his wand as a shotgun.
Oh, yeah, right. That's also another thing that I Can Dry likes to do a lot with Orville.
He likes to make his wand a gun.
Yep. Up, here comes the electricity.
I love how he just stands there and doesn't try to counter it.
Yeah, like, not at all. And also, this is, like, one of the main few kills that Pigpatch actually manages to get. Also, yeah. I'd like to point out, how is Twisted Bonnie not bigger than Happy Frog? I feel like he'd be twice her size. Like, look at that.
Maybe it's because of his, bulky resemblance.
Maybe so, but even then, even if he wouldn't be twice her size, I feel like he would still be heavier than her.
Yeah.
And that's what officially kills him, by the way.
And that's the... Yeah, multiple stomps to the head.
Yeah, just... And of course, we got Twisted Foxy. Alright, now this is where the quality starts to pick up a lot.
Yep, this is Stakey's part.
Yep.
They like to move every single bone on the animatronics.
Yeah, like every single one. Like, no bone goes unchecked without a keyframe whatsoever.
Yeah, the jaws, the ears. Everything.
Yeah. And I'd also like to point out that there are certain details in here. Like, I think what that represents is that it represents that he's basically out of electricity. Like, he can't spam his electricity anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like even after the details, like, say, after his feet hit the ground, there's still motion behind it, too. Like, pay close attention to Twisted Foxy's feet. Like, you see that? There was still movement even after they hit the ground. And I feel like that's a really good detail that lots of people should take notes on.
Yeah. Maybe I should take notes on that.
We both should, honestly. Okay, now that shot right there, I don't even know what Pigpatch was thinking right there with that. Like, I don't see how he thought he could pull a similar shot like that. Which is... But I do like the way of how that shot was made right there.
Their legs aren't even moving.
Yeah.
Their legs aren't even moving.
I mean, was there really any doubt that Foxy would have won that right there?
Yeah.
And that was also some really good impact of him falling down the stairs. Oh, I love that. That was good.
Yeah.
Up, yep, there it goes again. His wand being a gun again.
The shotgun wand. Yep. Where did you come from?
And that's the moment where he realized he fucked up.
He was fucked.
Yep.
And then?
I'd also like to point out, like, where else did he cut? Because we clearly see him cut, like, 4 times, right? Like, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, he cut 4 times.
So, where else did he cut?
Maybe, like, he cut, some of his wires to his legs or his torso, maybe?
Maybe, who knows?
I don't think that's logical.
Hold up, someone, Mr. Wyme says, Withered Hippo is kind of an original, to be fair. Don't really know what that means, honestly.
I think it means it's original to have him not have feet.
I guess so. And also their scout.
And then he realized he was also fucked.
Yep, he also realized that none of them were on his side. So then, yeah. So yeah, overall, I really liked that one. That was a really good fight.
Yeah.
Animation started out a little iffy, low effort, but it picked itself up.
Yeah, so my ratings on I Can Try Movies part, I give it an 7, and on Stakey's part, I give it a 9.
Yeah, because Stakey, when he really tries, he really tends to provide. All right, so
Yeah.
I think it's about time where we start giving a full team with I Can Dry some credit here, because today, now, we have the Toxic Toys versus the Ice Withered animatronics.
It's a good one.
Yep, this is one of my personal favorites. I watched this during the day that it came out, and I was like a kid in a candy shop, just. Wow. And I'd also like to point out that this is basically like Jazz Cinema's is like series at this point, revolving around the toxic animatronics, because the majority of their fights are based around the toxic animatronics.
Yeah, I wish they would do something like different.
Yeah. I also
heard some.
You go ahead first. I'll state mine later.
Okay, I did hear like some rumors about Jay's Cinema, but you gotta admit their fights are pretty good.
What were the rumors about them?
Like I don't know if I want to bring like controversy in this live stream.
Yeah, you know what? Probably best if we don't. Let's not spread any rumors or anything. It's probably best that we don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think I may have an idea of what you're talking about anyway, so yeah. And I also think, based on what they did how they responded to one of my comments, like their more recent comment, is, I said I would like to see a matchup between the Toxic Classics and the toy animatronics, and they gave me a heart comment. They hearted my comment. So I have a feeling that maybe that could be the potential next series, or next part, or they just really like the idea. Who knows?
Oh, Toxic Classic versus Toys?
Yeah, the Toxic Classic
Toxic
versus...
Toys.
Yeah, the Toxic Toys versus the Toxic Classics. Here is who, in my opinion, is basically the leader of the Toxic, because he basically controls everything.
What did he just drop?
I'd probably like to say that was either potentially just a part of his flesh, or he just took a massive shit. It's like... Man, it's so cold out here. My main question is, who is the person who, like, dumped them here? Because the dump truck that just dumped them there just decided to just dump them there, and then they just drove off.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm surprised that they managed to fit Mangle in one of those barrels.
Yeah. And also, that right there, that is also a very, like, amazing and also creepy idea right there. Just like these random snowmen that come out of nowhere that are just there all of a sudden. That's amazing build-up right there.
Yep. The Toxics are pretty much overpowered, because they're basically like liquid.
Yeah, and they can also regenerate.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Yep.
Bam! But he's still alive.
Yeah, that's true. And also, like... What?
The Ice Withered animatronics, they are really sick looking.
Yeah, I know. Just, like, look at the way of how Frosted Freddy, like, Ice Freddy looks. Just, like, that's the face...
I love those teeth, man.
Yeah, the teeth are, like, so menacing. And also, out of all...
Do you have an idea of an animation we can review after this?
What?
Do you have an idea of an animation that we can review after this one? Because I have an idea.
I think I got one, but we can do yours next, because basically the majority of these have been the ones that I've picked so far.
Okay.
Just like the mess. He just like, oh, so you're gonna try to stab me, huh? Well, guess what? I'm immune to stabbing. Bitch!
Also, I seen the criticism in the comments that the Toxics could only die in one way, which I find pretty understandable. I think a criticism, I think something to take in the future is that have them die in two ways. Like, one, their toxic hearts are pulled out, like you had in here, or their head is completely destroyed.
There actually is a different way of how they're beaten, too, aside from those two factors.
Being frozen?
Yes, because that was proven with the classics versus the toxic classics.
Wine just said Mangle must have been a pain to animate. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I've never done, like, a full animation with this Mangle model specifically, but I can already tell it's an absolute nightmare, especially with the way of how Ikendry choreographs these fights.
I'm surprised. Honestly, in Ikendry movies fashion, he found a way to do that.
Yeah, he just did. And also that Foxy model is sick.
Yeah. That doesn't work, Mangle.
Yep,
Unfortunately.
and that's another thing that I want to give credit for, because this not only just shows their abilities, but it also showcases how complicated it's going to be to, like, how they have weaknesses, but they also have ways to counteract those weaknesses. Like, for example, it was so easy for her to just bite down with a force strong enough to shatter ice, so in this case, they're pretty fragile against them. But because of the cold weather, they can regenerate, which makes them way harder to kill. But they are not fully capable of regenerating when it comes to having their heads destroyed.
How long has this been been going on for so far?
2 hours.
Oh my god.
I know, time really does fly by, doesn't it? And also, like, this also showcases how, like, crafty the toxic animatronics are with their abilities, because he can basically stretch his arm and extend it with extreme force to not only just knock him back, but flip him as well.
And then an attempted elbow failed.
Yep. That's another thing too, like, Toy Bonnie really loves his kicks.
Toxic Toy Chica is kind of the one who gets docked on
Yeah, kinda.
in this animation. Goodbye, leg.
Yep. And also, these specific shots in general, I feel like they give off, like, way more intel than people give them credit for. Like, for example, like, them showing that they can just freeze them on contact and then just easily break them as they can break them. But then also it shows right here, normally if that were a normal animatronic, they would have been done. But since this is toxic, she's made of toxic liquids, that doesn't work. And then there's this shot right here of her looking down at her leg and seeing that it's not healing because of the frost, which basically tells you that they can freeze their healing factors. So that puts them at a risk too.
Of course.
So it's basically almost a stalemate at this point. There goes Mangle's head.
Decapitation.
Yep. I also
But
love
not
the
for
way
long.
the way of how they presented Foxy's run animation there is just like so, like, it's so funny but creepy at the same time. Just like, insert meme text right there, just like, babe, I miss you, come over, but like, I'm at work, but I'm home alone.
Mr. Onion did that meme.
I know.
Said that meme before.
I know he did, that's why I did it. Shout out to you, Mr. Onion, if you see this.
Our main FNAF fight reactor.
Yeah, the main one, the first one in my opinion, who honestly has a better reputation of reacting to them. I've seen other people react to them, but none of them that have a good amount of quality as he does.
I love how he just not only reacts to them, but in a fun way dubs them.
Yeah, that's true too. It's just the way how he voices them too is so funny. And of course, they can't really
How are you
exactly.
still alive?
Yep, once again, that just shows that they can't be killed by decapitation. That's basically the only hit that she's visually been shown to land on him.
Oh, and here's...
Yep.
Good.
I remember watching
Yeah.
Mr. Onion react to that shot, and I just remember how distraught he was when he saw that. It just made me laugh. Once again, another creative way to just show how incredibly crafty these toxic animatronics are. And also, that's it for him, because they can't regenerate their heads, apparently.
Yeah, if they're not alive, they can't regenerate.
Yep, and
there goes Toy Freddy.
yep, Toy Freddy's out of the game. I also love two things about Ice Bonnie's model in this case. One is, of course, the fact that he has ice shards in his wires, which gives him more of a variety to fight with. And also just the fact that his face is substituted with a snowman. It's just so brilliant.
Yeah. It's creative.
Very creative.
Oh no, Toy Freddy's dead. Wait, is that gasoline? I
That-
have an idea, guys.
That roar right there was sick. I love that roar.
Yeah.
Look at the way how he looks. Like, he's just looking over there at one point, and then Mango comes over and he's just like, NANI? And also, that's aura farming if I've ever seen it. And once again, Toy Bonnie's gonna showcase how much of a one-man army he is. Yep, and that showcases their weakness right there. They're, of
And
course,
they-
weak to fire. Now, I remember that this was also a scene that you referenced as well with your frosted splings. Am I right?
Oh, you've seen that.
Yeah. Like for those of you guys who don't know, you would have to either be a fan of Blue, or you'd have to just watch FNAF fight videos in general. But yeah, he did a video where he referenced this scene as well.
It was a scene in a fight in a fight series.
Yeah,
My own
exactly.
Fight series.
Are you done with that series, by the way?
Ended. Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
What I would love to comment about this, like, it's not to like criticize or anything. I just find it very funny. Like, you tried to portray Woody Toy Bonnie as the bad guy for wanting to stop fights, and I'm just like, wait, why is he the bad guy here? Why is it making?
Well, you could say he's a good bad guy.
Yeah, he does bad things, but for good intentions, I guess. But at the same time, like, living in trying to establish world peace, like, how is that a bad thing? Once again, I'm not saying this to shit on you or anything. I'm just saying I find that really funny.
No offense taken.
Yeah.
I just like to throw in random stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And also, we're now including the detail that now that the ice is melting, they can put their healing factors back.
And how are you alive? You died! How many times do they have to kill you?
Apparently, enough times for a strike to the heart. Because apparently that's enough, because they can't just put that back in, apparently.
And then,
But
if
then
I'm
there's-
going down, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah. And then we have the last man standing.
Withered Bun Bun.
Yep.
He's now the one-man army, and Mangle is dead.
Mangle's dead. Were you, who were you rooting for? I'm curious to see who you were rooting for in this fight.
I was rooting for the Toxics.
I was rooting for the Withered animatronics, because I always prefer them over the toy animatronics.
For some reason, I tend to root for the one. I'm typically for some reason I like to root for the ones who are seen as the bad guys, and I see the Withereds here as the bad guys here because they attacked first.
Yeah, that is true. And just when you think he's done,
He has one more trick up his sleeve.
Yep. Now, I'm not really sure. The way of how they handled that shot, I feel like was really well done, too. Because the way of how they put it, like, they put the points of his fingers off screen, so you can't really tell that he has those, like, sharp edges on the points of his fingers. So when they show it here, it's almost like he actually did, like, shape-shift his fingers, so he actually could stab him there.
Yeah. And he did.
Yep,
He
and he
did.
did. And then he crawls off.
It looks like his legs have melted.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the look they went through. Also, yeah, I think they try to make it look like that with the lighting, too, because, like, if you look at the back of him compared to the front of him, when he's outside and inside...
Okay, what?
We both just went
What?
Alright, you go first.
I think you just cut out.
Oh, well, anyway.
Again.
Alright, what I was saying was, the way of how they handle how it looks like he's melting for me, like, take a look at the lighting of him being outside compared to how he is inside. It's much more darker when he's inside, but his coloring is much more brighter when he's outside.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Oh, look, some of his leg is gone. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I actually did see that. Yeah, his leg, maybe his leg did melt off in there.
But of course it regenerated.
Yeah. And I also feel like the way of how they symbolize that, he's just like so distraught about what he lost in there. He's just like, this victory was not worth what I lost in there.
Fuck you, toxic.
Yeah.
Heart shit. Isn't ice supposed to stay melted?
What?
Isn't ice supposed to stay melted?
Probably, but I guess in this instance, if people are rooting for the Withers, they gotta give them some advantage here.
Oh, I have you guys now.
Yeah. So I guess what that symbolizes is that I guess they're still alive, but at the same time, it's like kind of questionable because like obviously this symbolizes Freddy, who had his head crushed. So I feel like that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall, let's take a look at the full crew that worked on this. There was 3 people that worked on this.
There's I Can Dry, and there's it's Hero Projectile.
Yeah, and then
2F
there's
Craft Productions.
who worked on the visuals and the animation themselves. So I think maybe I Can Dry did most of the raw animation, and these 2 helped with the cleanup.
Yeah.
All right, so overall, I think that fight for me deserves a it deserves a 9.5 out of 10.
For me, it's a 9.9.
All right, so I think we're gonna react to 2 more, and then we can call it wraps. All right. So the next one that I want to react to is the one that you want to recommend right now. So what's it called?
I had 2 that I'm not really deciding. You can choose which one you want to react.
Alright.
One of them is Security Breach versus Glamrock Originals, and the other was Slasher versus Withered.
Oh,
By
okay.
me,
So we
of
got
course.
okay. Hang on. I think I got your channel somewhere on the. Here we go. All right. Let's see here. Or we could react to that one.
The joke fight.
Yeah, the joke fight. All right. So yeah, here's the Slasher versus Withered, and where is the other one that you said?
Scroll down.
Here we go.
Hold on. Yep, there.
All right, so I'd say I'd want to check out. I'd say I want to check out this one because I'm more of a fan of the slasher animatronics, and it blew my mind when I saw your title and stuff. And I thought, wait, did this dude actually get official access to the animation time slasher models? But then I looked and I was like, oh wait, no, those aren't the animation time slashers. It's like, where did he get those from?
I modeled them myself.
Yeah. Okay, so
They aren't. The slashers weren't actually made by Animation Time fully. They were actually made by a person on DeviantArt called PlayStation Jedi.
Yeah, you did tell me about that originally at one point. And I think there were actually some other modelers that made the slasher models, but Animation Time was the first to make models of them and then make fights of them, right?
Yeah. And I've seen Rooster Time's interpretation of them, which they're kind of mid.
Yeah, like they're...
Like, Freddy doesn't have his flamethrower thing, Slasher Bonnie doesn't have his shotgun guitar, and Foxy doesn't have his electric powers.
Yeah,
they just have saw blades.
Yeah, they should have just been called, like, the Saw Blade animatronics or something like that.
Slasher blades.
Yeah.
And here's where Bonnie... This part is one of the best I animated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's pretty good with the way how you handled it. But also, one of my main question is, how the heck did he manage to get behind him like that?
He's Foxy, so he's probably like Sonic and he can travel in the speed of light.
Apparently.
Maybe.
Wouldn't surprise me, especially with the electricity powers that he has. Is this on high quality?
Of course.
There we go. It was a little broken on my end.
Ready to dance the dead man's jig.
Kind of looks...
Nut shot.
Nut shot again. So, are like the... Personal question. Are the kicks like one of the hardest things that you have to animate sometimes?
Yeah, kicks are kind of hard to animate. Also, how I like to animate is what I call the pelvis first, meaning which I animate the pelvis first and then animate the other limbs and stuff.
Oh.
That's how I like to animate fights.
Oh. I'm personally probably like more of like the classic style. Like once I get to the next keyframe, I just like make every other keyframe there so then I know what to do next. That's how I like to do it.
Let's see.
Really am enjoying the like the amount of effort and work that Bonnie's putting into Foxy here.
Also, similar to the Animation Times fights, there might be a subtle drop in quality in the next part.
Yeah, I do tend to notice that a little bit, but I mean, it's still entertaining to watch regardless.
I'm proud of the lighting here too.
Yeah,
and
I
this
bet.
part, this is he's goated part.
Yeah, this goes pretty hard. He's just like, did you really just try to do that? I also, like... You go ahead first.
You go first.
Okay. So I love how you also added in, like, the eyebrows and the eyelids. I get, like, the original slasher interpretations that you base this off of have eyelids too, but they're rarely ever used. But you also gave them, like, bones in their eyebrows so you could sense their emotions and all that stuff whenever you see them on camera.
Yeah, I always wondered why Animation Time slasher animatronics barely like express emotions.
Yeah.
Like they have that blank stare.
I mean, with Wall TV, he actually does show a little bit of emotion with Slasher Chica a bit because she actually does move her eyelids around.
Yeah. That's good. And they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. I also feel like with
so. When Mr. Onion saw this, he was like, bruh, just let go.
Yeah, just let
go of the Bonnie.
Yeah. I love the sound design choice that you picked for that scream right there. I feel like that was very fitting.
Yeah, that was a robotic demo man scream.
Ah.
Watch out for the hook, unless you be wanting to gouge your eye.
Speaking on Mr. Onion on this part, I love how jealous he got when he found out that you were giving actual voice lines for these characters instead of just letting him dub them.
Yeah, he was like, BlueBear, I know you just joined my server, but we're gonna have some problems if you replace me already.
He's like, I'm gonna fight you. Oh, hold up.
He's like...
Mr. Wyme says, I think Slasher Chica has explosive cupcakes.
It's more. She has more like cupcakes with like legs.
Yeah, that's just something else made by somebody else. Also, for being on display, yeah, she doesn't actually use Slasher Cupcake too much, does she?
Yeah.
And it's basically also at this point, too, where you can tell that Bonnie's just screwed at this point, because what else can he do?
Yeah, he got his bat taken and stabbed it.
I did
love
think...
that stab animation.
Yeah.
And that falling animation that I did for Withered Bonnie there.
Yeah, I came up with a certain other kind of scenario that I feel like is similar to this, but it's like it can end differently. So instead of his like whole lower arm getting chopped off, it instead would just be like it would just be his hand that gets cut off. Like his right hand would just get cut off, and then after that he would manage to get the upper hand somehow. He would rip off whatever it is that cut off his hand in the first place, and then he would replace it with that. And I feel like that would be a really cool visual.
Good tip. Good tip.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the mid-effort like part here. Withered Foxy versus Slasher Chica.
Yeah. I mean, that walk cycle right there, that was pretty good. Like, you could have, like, yeah, that was pretty good.
I love my walk cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of notice how there's a little bit more, just rather more swiftness rather than just the, you know, the hits are a little more swift is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. James Hurtwig said, could you do Glamrock Originals versus Glamrocks next?
Yeah, sure, we can do that next.
Okay. Okay, that should have hurt Foxy because it kind of... And head slice clean off.
Yep.
Also, Slasher Chica is kind of... Oh, in my opinion, Slasher Freddy and Chica are the slashers that get dogged on the most. Like, they're the ones that die first. And with Slasher Foxy and Bonnie are the ones that carry the team the most. I've seen in most fights.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. Especially with like the Shattered Security Breach versus the Slashers. Like those two were the only ones left, and they were the only ones who actually managed to work well as a unit.
Yeah. Oh, and here's one of the better ones.
Yeah. I also would like to just note that I know what this shot is referencing.
Demented versus Nightmare VR.
Yeah. So that's like bringing up one of my previous points from before. So you still do tend to recreate those fights, but it's only like subtle references here and there. Like it's not like a full-on recreation, like shot for shot. It's just like a subtle reference that you just like to throw in there for fun.
Of course. Withered Chica, man, she got treated like a punching bag here.
Yep.
Slasher.
I can really feel
Slasher Freddy.
Yeah, he's a beast in this.
Slasher Freddy has no chill.
Yeah, whatsoever. Crafty right there, Chica. I'll give you that.
Someone said a meme about that shot. FNAF in real time jump scare move.
Actually, that's what Chica does in the FNAF real time jump scare. That's actually what she does, so that's funny. Okay.
Light potion failed, and it kicked to the chest.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that...
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I honestly do not know what happened with that.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. I'll admit. Like, it's happened to me. Like, and there's another thing that I feel like right there that you're really good at that I'm not that good at is the camera motion. I feel like the way of how you handled the rotation of that, I feel like that was really good. Like, right here. I feel like that was really good.
Yeah.
Up, here comes the iconic chain that he has. Like, oh, like no hesitation. I can't imagine. I bet those like Withered models are probably like really tricky to work with because like I can tell like there's like smears right here from where these models really aren't meant to be pulled apart, are they?
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, At first, I was considering using the Help Wanted Withereds at first, but then I went with these models. And now that I think about it, I should have went with the Withered models that were shown in the thumbnail, which were the TMG Withereds.
Yeah.
The music hits hard too.
Yeah.
What a gift to relish. A victim that can
Nightmare Freddy voice line.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing that I'd like to give you credit for. You actually give them voice lines that actually fit their characters too, because like with the animator from Animation Time, he just kind of does whatever voice line that he chooses. Like it's just a random voice line, and it just does not fit sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Purified versus FNAF Movie 2, Bonnie says a line that sounds like it's from Springtrap.
I think it is, honestly, because he says that was easier than I thought it would be. So that's definitely one of Springtrap's lines. But in my personal opinion, I kind of feel like that fits a little bit better rather than Chica saying one of Springtrap's voice lines.
Of course. Like she says fucking, I always come back.
And so many people in the comments of that video were just like, bitch, you ain't Springtrap, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you were saying before, he legit has no chill.
Of course.
Where did his jaw go?
It fell off screen. I didn't animate it. Oh god.
Well, at least you took the time to animate that.
They used their claws.
Yeah, true.
And here's Withered Freddy.
I like how he's just been sleeping through all of this. Like, imagine, like, they're all just trying to cry out to help, like, Freddy's their last hope. Just, Freddy! Save us! And he's just like...
Freddy, you bitch ass. Your friends are dying and you're sleeping.
You're just sleeping. Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you hear that musical sting from FNAF movie?
Yes, I
The one
do.
where the yellow rabbit comes out.
Yeah, it probably is really hard for some other people to hear because of the other music going over it, but I definitely do hear it in there.
Yeah. Withered Freddy is now Captain America.
Yep. And that I can tell that is the Toy Freddy voice line, but it does fit a lot better when a Freddy variant says it.
Yeah, and fun fact, I actually edited that in Audacity to make it sound like it belonged to a Withered animatronic.
Yeah, like I do give the Animation Time animator credit for that because sometimes he does tend to distort the audio so they sound deeper and that they don't sound exactly like, for example, when Corrupted Bonnie speaks in those videos, it's like more deeper and conjointed instead of it actually just being Toy Bonnie's voice, because that would ruin the character design so much with that voice.
Yeah. Like imagine Nightmare Bonnie with a high-pitched ass voice. That would make him a lot less intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it would just, like, completely ruin him as a character.
It's fun. Catch me if you can.
Like, what do you even mean by that, bro?
Huh?
Hold up. Let's take a look at the pose that Slasher Bonnie was making.
Like they're clipping.
He's like...
His legs are lazy.
He's like a stand... He's like a stand-in or something. Like a prop or some shit. He's like, oh, you got a shield? Well, I got a fucking gun.
And he's like, oh shit!
I'd like to take a quick moment to like insert a joke from Family Guy that they made about Captain America, where it's just like the thugs, they just take his shield and then they shoot him in the head. They're just like, he's just a man.
Wow. So Withered Freddy is just a man.
Yep.
And then...
Oh yeah, that's a gnarly end right there. And also Mr. Onion's thumbnail right there.
Yeah.
Bam.
And it...
Alright, so I'd like for you to give a personal review on your level, like a rating that you feel like you can be satisfied with yourself, as well as like say that you feel like you did not waste any time working on this at all and you do not regret it.
Definitely one of my best fights of this year. it has a lot more action, and I do wish I did better on Withered Foxy and Slasher Chica's part, and I do wish I did pose the legs on the last part. I'm really proud of how I animated the deaths, except Slasher Chica's, that she was kind of lamest.
Yeah.
And it did take a while to make, but it was worth it in the end.
Right. And also, speaking of which, we got one of your older videos here.
Oh shit. And I'm really surprised that I managed to animate Slasher Freddy's hook. I didn't think I would be able to go that hard with something I've never done.
Yeah,
before.
like chain animations, that cannot be easy.
Yeah. So I give this an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say I'd give it the same thing. Like, I can really tell, like, even if there are some flaws in this, I can really tell that you do want to try and make this look good. Unlike, you know, some people.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'd like to hold up on the one other promise that we made to someone in chat, and we're going to react to the Glamrock originals versus the Security Breach animatronics.
Yeah.
This was almost animated a year ago, too. Holy shit.
And somehow this fight blew off for like a supposed no reason. It has almost 300,000 views.
Yeah, look at that. That is like insane too. I feel like the concept of it just really caught people's eye. I feel like maybe that's why it hit off so well.
Maybe.
Like the concept of it all was probably just so unique to everyone that it just really, that people really wanted to see what exactly the title was suggesting. So that's probably why there were so many clicks on it. So, okay, I'd like to take this moment to ask you what you were thinking before about, you know, when you came to make these Glamrock originals.
Well, I kind of got inspired by models I seen from DeviantArt, and yeah, I tried recreating them like exactly as they were, and no doubt that Chica model was what I was referencing.
Right.
And say with that Bonnie model.
Huh?
Yeah.
Alright, wait, hold up. Withered Bonnie versus... Okay, Mr. Wime says that the Withered Bonnie versus Slasher Foxy part was well made.
Thank you, Mr. Jiswime. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
What is this place, Chica? I have no idea, Bonnie.
I'm gonna go check it out. Oh shit, who is this guy?
Oh no.
Ah!
Rock and roll.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that right there. I feel like you really actually very much tried to replicate I Can Dry movie style, and in my honest opinion, you did a really good fucking job.
Thank you.
Like, this shot right here of just like the motion and the camera movement, and just that right there, that works so well in my opinion.
Thank you.
And that's also another thing that I feel like you've stopped doing lately. You've stopped, like, with, like, all the neck cracking and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, cut back on that.
Yeah. And also, I gotta say, like...
So...
You go ahead.
So, some of the fight movements here, they were referenced from Orange Animation's fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the fights were kind of linear. The movements were linear, so I wanted to, like, put my own, like, thought and taste into them.
Yeah,
make
exactly.
it, like, look better, and I think I accomplished that.
Yeah, I'd
really
say
well.
so, too. Like, I'd say, like, the way of how you choreograph their movements here, especially with how he, like, blocks with his guitar behind, I feel like that's really well, animated, too. I feel like you did a really good job with that, too.
Yeah.
just like, damn it, not again. That would have been like a Metal Gear Rising reference where like Jack gets his arm cut off.
Here's Freddy and Foxy.
Yep. Okay, now I kind of like to bring up some personal questions about Foxy's design, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, I mostly just question it because I question, like, say, if we were to go off of these and say these were official models licensed by Scott and Steelwool Studios, I would like to think what their thought process was, like, especially with the modern day update that they have. Like, why would they choose to, like, leave his bare endoskeleton parts wide open? I get it's, like, a crucial detail, and that's what you went for, which, kudos to you for that. But still, at the same time, it's just like, why would they leave that out?
Thank you. I don't know.
Well, anyway, enough questions. Let's get on to it. There's usually a child in this stroller, but there's not. And then it's just like,
Oh shit, is that a wolf?
I feel like, oh god,
are we
it's the
gonna
most
fight?
it's the most fantasized furry.
Not as much as Toy Chica.
Yeah, true. She was the first.
That's another this here is another reference.
Yeah, I bet it
But
is.
it's choreographed really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, like if you're gonna, I feel like you can get away with referencing something else as long as you do it well.
Yeah. Which is not something I did the first time.
Yeah. I love that shot right there. Just like the shot of her jumping and then him throwing the stroller and then getting stopped in midair by getting hit by it. That's really good.
Oh shit, it's a chicken. What should I do?
I'm gonna make Kentucky Fried Chicken out of her. So, oh shoot, I accidentally hit the fast forward. So that voice line in the soundtrack with like, all personnel, please evacuate to the, is that part of the soundtrack or is that just added in?
Yes. Yes, that's part of the soundtrack.
I thought it was.
That's not the announcer of the security breach game.
Yeah, I know, because we all know the announcer for the security breach game is a male's voice.
Yep.
Okay.
Family Guy death pose.
Okay, now, to be fair, I have to say, like, I did make a comment about this before with the other animator. You remember, like, the animator we were shitting on earlier, right?
Yes.
They did something like this
Yep.
too, but of course,
Of course, they do it all the time.
yeah, but at least with you, I can say that you did it better here. And before people start asking questions, just like, what do you mean? It's basically the same thing. It's not the same thing because Blue took the time and liberty to actually pose it right and actually make it look like, you know, her arm is like not really bending the way it's supposed to be. Her other arm looks flat on the ground, just like how it looks in the original meme, as well as every other detail as well. So before people start coming after me for that accusation, I debunked you. So yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also the fart reverb sound effect.
Yeah.
And it's only funny in this
And then
case
here
too
comes-
because you did it once. You did it once and that was enough.
Not like a million times. Okay,
Yeah.
Glamrock Freddy here. He has the most aura in this.
Yeah, he does, and not to mention he's the only one that really has a weapon.
Yeah.
Once again, the choreography being very creative, in my opinion, that's what I feel like really helps carry this out.
I love it when rock music is in these fights.
Yeah. I did kind of notice a little bit of a, like a little rush moment there.
Clipping.
Like, yeah, her just clipping through the mic
Oh,
instead.
yeah.
But you do make up for it with this right here.
Oh yeah.
Like, bam, that right there, that's hard.
Yeah. Oh, here it comes.
Yep,
Here it
once
comes.
again, once again, it's always him. It's always
It's Freddy
him.
this time.
Yeah, except it's Freddy
Hey.
this time.
And
I
I'm
feel
glad
like,
it's not Bonnie. Again.
but also fun fact, he's not dead yet. But it mostly just helps him die.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't have me hook.
Shit. Foxy, no! Shut up, Freddy.
I don't know what to do here. It's just like my fan base is a bunch of girls ganging up on me.
Oh my god. I think we both have the same sense of humor.
I think so. Except, I think I've showcased my humor for more adult content more than I think you have, probably.
And here comes a non-expected moment. Glamrock Freddy fighting a Bonnie.
Yeah, most people would probably just think that he would just, like, be like, oh, Bonnie, is that you? I haven't seen you in forever. But I feel like in this case, he would know the version of his friend very well. So he would be like, no, this is an imposter. I must kill him.
Of course, that's logical.
Yeah. I also love the way of how you animated like this shot right here of him running up and ramming him off the side. I really love how this looks. Like that right there, that looked really good. Of course, lacking the facial animations otherwise. I feel like that's the only really criticizing thing I can say.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to do that more often.
Yeah. My main question is too, how is he able to stay up in the air that long before going down?
I don't know.
I get it, it's probably just like for animation visuals and whatnot, and I'm not blaming you for that or anything, but still, it's just a little questionable. I like to question some things sometimes. I feel like that's what makes it funny. And also, yeah, that death was gnarly.
Yep.
Fox is like, help! I'm being tag teamed by two hot females.
Shut up, Foxy.
Ah!
I'm gonna come on you now.
Oh, just like women win yet again.
And here comes the most powerful character in existence.
Without a doubt. Without even anyone being acknowledged of his existence yet, he already kills someone. It's just like, hey, I'm here too. I feel
No one
like
cares that you're here.
And it's just like, I bet you everyone else really does. And then... just not even like... Hold up. I just want to see if I can count how many seconds he's on screen for. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3. Alright, 3 seconds of him right there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, barely even 13 seconds in, and he already kills 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's how powerful he is.
This is why he didn't fight in the Chuck E. Cheese fight.
Yeah, because it would just be over. I also recognize that reference right there.
It would be over before it even started.
Yeah. I
breach versus reject security breach.
Yeah, just like the scene where this is a recreation where Mr. Hippo does the same thing to Freddy here. Except this time, just actually straight up finishes him off. What are you talking
Monty's
about?
Still alive.
I like how he says game over, kid, like he's already won, but like, bro, you haven't even fought him yet. What are you talking about?
Show off.
Yeah. Body slam.
And then
I'm pretty sure like so many people probably were thinking, oh yes, security breach has got this in the bag, and then he shows up and then he just souls all of them.
yeah.
Alright, so overall, I'd like to say that I give this one a solid 8 out of 10. I love the choreography, I love the outcome and everything. I'm always a fan of the classics and always look forward to seeing them win. So yeah, with that being said, I give you a full 8 out of 10 rating.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what are your personal
One of my
thoughts on this?
best fights again. One of my best fights. I really like how I choreographed some of the movements here better,
Yeah.
and like some references and funny moments. And I wish there were more facial expressions as usual.
Yeah.
And overall, it's a pretty good fight. I give it a. You know what? I'll give it a solid 8 again.
All
Same
right.
as you.
So we're both at an understanding here. So I think this will be the last one we do for the stream because we've almost been streaming for 3 hours.
Oh, for God's sake!
I know. So this will probably be the last one that we do, and then we'll wrap up the stream. All right. So.
Oh, the latest Jason.
Yep, the latest one that Mr. Onion himself has not reacted to yet. I hope to see when he eventually reacts to it. Hopefully this can load properly.
Just click play.
I know. Oh, okay. So we just put it all the way back. All right. So this is the Toxic Toys versus the Withered animatronics. And this video is by far...
Toxic.
Yeah, the Toxic Withereds. And this one is by I Can Dry Movie, yet again, the GOAT, the OG, the absolute god of fight choreography, in our opinion. And this video is 6 minutes long. It's the longest one he's done.
Yeah, but it's still not the longest FNAF fight in history if you count Frosted Splinks versus Christmas.
Yeah,
by
like,
me. It's
people-
almost 20. It's like 20 minutes long, or
Yeah.
27.
Exactly. Like, people may, like, give you shit for the way of how they used to look back then, but still, you were the only person who basically made a full-length movie, pretty much. And, you know, I think we should plan to,
Yeah, but
pretty much set up, like, a little Q&A for you for that, for, like, the next stream that we do of this, and we'll talk about all the process, and we'll go over the story and overall and what you were thinking with it, and we'll see how that goes.
yeah, good idea. Good idea. I would like I would like some questions to be answered.
Yeah. Okay, so what I feel like most people probably may not understand is that this is probably like a follow-up to the, you know, the Toxic Toys versus the toy animatronics themselves.
Yeah, most people think that Toxic Toys versus Ice Wizards was the next after that.
It's hard to say, really.
The lore is just as confusing as the FNAF lore.
Yeah, the FNAF lore itself as a whole.
Yeah.
So I'd like to point out that
Also, you're gonna...
there's like a few subtle differences here that I noticed. Like, for example, there's less motion blur, which I'm kind of a little not much of a fan of, but I can forgive it for what it's worth.
Well, like, with I Can Dry Movies, they adjust the shutter speed so there's, like, minimal motion blur, and that's what I like to do, too.
Yeah. And also showcasing that...
And also, they still have the
yeah, the Toxic Hearts.
They're still inside them.
Yeah. I gotta love the POV shots, too, that they made for that, too.
I think I gotta do POV shots, too.
Yeah, I've been working on
Boy, I
POV
actually
shot
did
animations, too, as well. I haven't gotten to work on them yet, but I will in the future. Also, another detail that's really well done right here, you notice how the light in his endo is like, you know, it's just the way that it is, but then when he notices the heart's missing, it changes color. That's a really good detail.
Oh. Oh. I actually didn't think about that. I thought it just changed for, like, you know, the... What do you call it? The visual stuff.
Yeah, but like you can pay close attention right here. You can see that it's like pretty much yellow, but like a few frames later, it changes to like orange/red.
He has went into kill mode.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'll be right back.
All right.
Give me 1 sec. Alright, I'm back.
All right.
You can get it.
So this is probably a... So this already, right now, is a pretty gnarly scene. Not only do we have... Not only do we have, like, Withered Freddy... Like, toxic Withered Freddy's mouth gaping wide open, we also have him eating another toxic animatronic alive.
When did Toxic Toy Bonnie get there?
See, that's the thing, too. I think, like, the toxic hearts themselves contain the toxic animatronics in there. I think that's what they insinuate. So, when they took the heart, that's why... So, basically, the heart tries to regenerate itself into its toxic toy form, and then he tries to escape, but he can't.
Oh.
So that's... Yeah, that was pretty gnarly to watch, and also probably a fetish for some people.
Oh god. The fighting in this video seems a little slow.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of feel like there's not that much of it, to be honest. Because I feel like most of the animation budget went towards the toxic toy animatronics transformation.
Yeah, that's a sick moment.
Yeah. I also want to state that toxic Withered Bonnie, he gets dunked on pretty hard in this.
Damn. Mangoverse and Foxy fighting, that's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, because usually they're portrayed as like the couple, pretty much.
Yeah. And he lost his hand.
And his ear, too. And she's just straight up getting eaten.
He did?
Yeah, like, look, see, look, he lost his ear up there.
Oh. That's Withered Toy Bonnie vibes from FNAF AR versus Hoaxes.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, hold up. Is it the exact same
Also,
ear? I think it is. Yeah, it's the exact same ear.
Yeah.
That's probably
Also,
a little
I'm pretty
unintentional
sure they're
reference towards you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're pronounced Hoaxes.
Yeah, I think so too. I used to say Hoaxes because like I saw the ho and then axes part in there, so I was probably saying Hoaxes.
It's Hoaxes.
Yeah, Hoaxes. I know to say that now. Yeah, Toy Chica is really just getting eaten alive right now. Yeah, Mangle is really at a disadvantage here because she really doesn't have that much to work with here.
Yeah, and decapitated again.
Like, yeah, like Withered Bonnie
is doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Whoa, what the heck? Hang on, I think my screen's frozen.
Withered Toy Freddy is hanging in there.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with my screen right here. Yeah, my screen is like glitching out during the transformation system. Hang on, I gotta refresh the page.
Somehow he...
Alright, let me see if I can play that scene now. There we go. So yeah, once again, we're...
Gross. Two...
Yeah, not just one, 2 arms. And I feel like that also works really well with him because I feel like if you were to just like turn the right arm into like a left hand, all you would really have to do is just swap the thumb finger and then bam.
And then...
Yep, just got him in 3 hits
Boom.
too. That's crazy. And then there's Toy Bonnie's arm.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, so did I, but apparently he's still alive in there. And this is where the lore drops.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. What's the big deal? Big deal. Jack, there's blood everywhere. 4 casualties. The hall had to be evacuated. We have bodies, Jack. You caught the person responsible?
I don't think that makes sense. That is like his endo eyes being able to like roll back like that.
Yeah, I don't really think that makes much sense either because it's more like they're kind of like light indicators rather than, you know, actual eyeballs. But I guess for like they didn't really have another way to visualize that, I guess.
They could have like made them like flicker.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they could have.
I need them out of here, and I need replacements. Stat. I'll do it from other sides if you have to.
There's
This
the
must
pyro.
be the origin of the toxic Withered.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's also kind of weird how it starts from them, I feel like, because, like, How does the toxic heart originate from them, really?
Thank heaven it was a private party.
Maybe like when the Withereds were taken out, the toys replaced them, and then when Toy Bonnie noticed the toxic puddle, it was like the heart like regenerating maybe.
I guess so,
And
maybe.
we tried to clean it up.
And then
it
bam,
awakened.
that's when they
The
respond.
toxic-
Circus can be.
I kind of
Hey,
feel
give
like
back
he,
your heart.
yeah, I feel like he should have a way better range of being able to grab that. I mean, it's right there.
And it gets right inside him again. And then the transformation.
Yep, the transformation sequence.
I love how they did those. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then uppercut.
He, like, quite
Yeah.
literally, he is the... I don't care what any of the roles of the Five Nights at Freddy's games say. He is literally the leader. Toy Bonnie of the Toxics is literally the leader.
What?
Okay,
And then
there's...
we have to assemble the crew.
Yeah, there's also no way to sugarcoat this. They are legit kissing right now.
Oh, ew. Look, lip to lip. Lip to lip.
Yep. And yeah, Toy Chica literally just got eaten.
And there's a cool detail in this scene, I think, too.
Feel free to point it out.
Okay. And stop now.
Right here?
Like, her chest got, like, bursted open. Like,
Let me
if
see.
you look closely, it looks like it looks like there's a hole burst into it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, too. I think they
I-
had those, like, custom made for that, too. That's really cool. Just transfer the heart through. Yeah, this is where I feel like the majority of the budget went.
Yeah, the chance. And
Yep.
then the toxic mangle is
She's
born
back.
again.
It's like, why is this torso on me like this? Get off!
Oh, wait, what's happening to it? Wait, is it
No,
turning into me?
it can't be.
I must stop
stop him.
this, maniac. I don't think so.
Also,
I don't
let's
think
just
so, Freddy.
let's go ahead and analyze every single shot of what we just saw right there. So he tries to swing him. He does a classic duck. Then he throws like at least two.
Bonnie has all instinct.
Yeah, he throws two punches, and then he straight up twists his torso like a full 360 to like psych him out to make him think that he's punching him again. And then he's like, wait, where's the punch? And then he spins back around and then hits him.
Very good move there, Toy Bonnie.
Yeah, like the amount of details and like ideas that are either like written by like Ikendry, like I don't know how he does it. Like he either just comes up with it on the fly or he scripts it. I don't know how he does it.
A magician never reveals their secrets.
Oh,
And here,
yep.
let me.
Yeah, and there's also like I think there's like custom little bits here and there of his like ears and stuff flying around.
Also, someone said something funny in the comments of this.
Yeah,
On that part.
yeah. Someone said something about, man, Toy Freddy's really getting Withered Bonnie back for the Withered Ice matchup.
Yeah. Really, JoJo destroyed them there.
Yeah.
And then for the finishing move.
Oh, bam. So my main question is, like, how come the toy animatronics can regenerate, but they can't?
Maybe because their hearts are taken out so they can't regenerate.
I guess so. I guess, like, if you really pay attention and you look at the details of what they signify with the animation, then, yeah, I think the hearts are, like, the key factor of the regeneration, so I guess that's why they needed to steal the hearts.
Of course. Everyone is dead.
Yep. And then their shells pop out.
They still have the endoskeleton, so I'm pretty sure they could still be alive, just unconscious.
Yeah, they're probably just powered off. And just like that, back to where they were.
Imagine if they would just loop. Imagine if this fight would just loop.
That'd be
which is
crazy.
Kind of possible because
Yeah, like imagine we would just cut back to the toxic withers and they'd just be slowly regenerating and then trying again.
of course.
That would be absolutely crazy. So, let's take a look at the amount of people. There was 4 people that worked on this time.
And then the Sentin, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's kind of blurry.
Let me see
And
if
then
I
there's
can,
Enchanted Coffee. Nice name.
can I like...
Senti. 4.
Yeah, it's called Senti, apparently.
Oh, Senti, Icandry, and Geo Projectile, and Enchanted Coffee. Sounds
Yeah.
like Enchanted Mob.
And apparently the music was custom made too, so there's a lot that goes into this.
Yeah.
Wine says they gave their hearts to the toys. Which I guess that is also pretty
Appreciate
true. So they
Yeah.
pretty much just went from being their enemies at one point to their allies.
Yeah.
So overall, I'd like to say that I would like to give this fight a solid 8 out of 10. Mostly because I don't really think there was that much fighting in it. The main reason why I like to watch these is just how creative and awesome the choreography and the fights get. But I feel like there was just less of that this time.
So you mean you prefer choreography and animation over story?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, there was a little bit less fighting than there was, like, you know, an equal amount of story. Like, I appreciate that they're really going into depth and making a story about this because, like, most other fights, they're just, like, you know, they're, of course, just fights. But this one has lore and story that they're going off of and coming up with and writing about, which I respect.
I actually did that too.
Yeah, you did that as well. You had your own lore and story that you also portrayed in your animations that made it pretty much the full-fledged movie that it was.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Anyway.
what's your rating?
The choreography is really good. It was a bit slow paced at times, but I wish it was a little faster. And I really like the custom like hearts flying around.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's like having wounds on them and like being taken apart.
Yeah.
And I really love the transformation scenes. They're really well done. And the sounds too. Props to the sound designer.
Yeah, like that's the thing too. They also got like a different sound design for this time instead of the usual sound design which they go for, which is usually either like Mortal Kombat X or the other sound effects from that soundtrack that I can't really think of.
I started using those sound effects.
Yeah, like also those like sound effects that we hear in the Coca-Cola versus Withered mediocre melodies. Like, you know the sounds where they make whenever they like hit the ground pretty much? I still don't know what those sounds are from.
Me neither.
Like, I thought at first that
Or-
they came from Mortal Kombat X just like the rest of them did, but apparently no. Like, I've tried going through all the sound files and everything and I still can't find out what they are.
I think they're from Mortal Kombat 4 or 3 or 4. I think it's 4, I believe.
Well, that's something I'll have to look into later. But,
So I give this what did you give this fight?
I gave it a solid 8 out of 10.
7.9.
7.9?
Yeah.
Alright, well, so I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's stream. We've been streaming for about like 3 hours now, and it's like 11, so we should probably really wrap this up. I would like to take this time to thank everyone who showed up for the stream and took the time to write some comments in the chat, and I also, of course, no question in my mind, wouldn't forget it at all, and even if I did, I would hate myself for it. Big thank you to you, Blue, for showing...
It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Yeah,
No problem.
And I most likely look forward to
Wish we
doing...
could,
yeah, I look forward to doing more of these with you, and you're more than welcome to bring along any other guest if you want.
I'll see about that. Sorry if I was absent through a part of it. I wanted to get a slushie.
Yeah, valid, honestly. So, yeah. So, thank you, everyone. And, of course, thank you, Blue, for joining us for the stream. And we will most likely be doing another one of these in the future. Don't know when. I kind of just brought this up at some point. Wasn't exactly really scheduled, but we may do another one at some point. So, that's all for today, guys.